Oi. Hello, my friends. I'm only slightly late, so you can't have too much of a go at me. I have been dragged from my third multi-hour retrospective of Final Fantasy VIII. Let's see how this goes. Why are you doing so? I thought Final Fantasy VII was the good one anyway. I can't remember. I can't even remember the last retrospective I watched, but I do like going through those video essays because I'm a massive nerd too, Cero. But anyway, I hope everyone else is doing okay. Again, I'm only slightly late, so you can't all be going late and gay, late and gay. But we'll see how it goes. Give it a few minutes before we set off, though. Once again, I think this was a good choice to not have a guest on for this stream because doing my silly voices is very good and I can fully concentrate on this game. Again, I think it was GooseSpringsteen who suggested this one. Very good suggestion. Don't be afraid to suggest games. I will play through entire games that I hate as well, and those can be quite funny, especially when we did Life is Strange. That was awful. I don't know if Final Fantasy VIII is your favourite. Now, Cero, I've never played a Final Fantasy game, so after Deus Ex, I have a horrible feeling you're going to try and get me to play literally all of them. But there we go. Alright, 4 viewers, we'll wait for a couple more to get through and then we'll carry on. I'm trying to remember where I got up to last time actually. I think we're doing the Reformation bill, which I'm not particularly happy about doing, but I do need the party and a few of the progressives on side, annoyingly. Because I'm mostly going to be leaning sort of more nationalist, capitalist types. I'm surprised at how many people don't want me to side with the West. I suppose because it is likely to lead to a sort of you're a vassal state, but that's going to happen anyway because of the weak position Swordland's in. Before I forget, Haryan, do you know Luke Trill from More in Common has his own podcast called The Opinion Brief? I did, but I don't listen to it because he's on The Spectator all the time, so I could just get the distilled opinion from when he's on The Spectator. But I may give it a listen or two. The main problem I have with Luke Trill is that he's one of these pollsters that just makes people up, and then, you know, he puts people in these really broad categories that I think until we're past this point of realigning politics, we'll have no idea how accurate that actually is. I probably wouldn't if you wanted to keep the stream to under 10 per game. Is it 10 or 20? What's my? I'm pretty sure my limit's 20. Burnham is apparently considering Gary Economics as an economics advisor. I did hear that, and I still don't really believe it. Vibes aside, the judgment is hopeless, plus the idea of sending half of number 10 to the northwest is sticking it to the south, and that's it. That'll be popular, by the way. Which I don't personally see the point in it. I think a bigger problem for regional inequality is basically that they worry about it way too much. All you really need to do is deregulate, and yeah, that will probably grow London, but it'll also allow Birmingham to grow. It's allowed Manchester to grow. It'll grow the northeast. I think one of the best things you can actually do is just let regional inequality go ham, and people will concentrate where the wealth is, and that'll even get people to be entrepreneurial and grow it in other areas. You know, why did Birmingham end up being the beating heart of industry along with Manchester and Liverpool? They're already cities for a start, but they were allowed to let their tycoons go nuts. So there you go. Won't happen under Gary Stevenson, obviously. 20 would be pushing it too for some of the Final Fantasy games. Again, I've never played any, so please start me off easy. Anyway, I've got a few viewers now, so we will continue with El Presidente and remind myself of where I'm up to. Oh, and I think Restores had another mayor today. For those who don't know, Low Biden did another interview and said multiculturalism's great. So, well done. People were doxed over this, by the way. Unleashing energy and analysis of EPA's potential. We're at a crossroads. I take it they're against the Energy Protection Act. So repeal the Energy Protection Act. I don't want to repeal it. I want to allow for a bit more foreign investment because we need the money. Preparation underway for the annual Benfey Festival. Internationally renowned, geographically it's southeast coast of Swordland. So it's... Go away. Down. How do I move? How do I move the... Oh, it's right click. There's Benfi, right. Richter's victory over Rain. Oh, whatever, I don't care. My understanding is that under the Labour Party law, the members need to have a vote for the leader no matter what, so how can Burnham run unopposed? Because to be in the running to be Labour leader, you need a certain percentage of the MPs backing you, and in this case it's 80 of them. So if another MP can't get 80 people behind them, 80 other MPs behind them, they can't run. So the only people that were ever going to run against Andy Burnham were Wes Streeting, and for some reason everyone was going behind Darren Jones. If you don't know who he is, don't worry, he's Minister for the Chancellor of the Duchy of Lancaster. If you don't know what that is, it's a hangover from the old days where Parliament used to deal with the Duchy of Lancaster's money, basically, but these days it's just an advisory role to the Cabinet, mainly to the PM. But yeah, he's not running, so that's why he can run unopposed. I guess I'll probably say try some... Oh, I'll let you ramble on about Final Fantasy while we have a meeting about the Energy Protection Act. Oh, this is my baby. Let's go. As the morning sun streamed through the window of the presidential office, an imminent meeting loomed on my agenda. In a quarter of an hour, I was set to discuss the Energy Protection Act of 1932 with Misters Graff, Hull and Visky. People are also saying John Healey. God help him if he does run. I don't think they're saying John Healey. I think they're saying Al Carnes. Which would be very funny because 2 years ago Al Carnes was a Tory advisor, so uniparty moment. The recent abrogation of the Grand National Assembly, coupled with ongoing dialogues with Gasson, has only served to amplify the discourse surrounding legislation. I was sipping my morning coffee and enjoying a quiet moment of solitude when David arrived characteristically early. Oh, how did I do his voice? He's old, so he was sort of a bit nasally. A very good morning to you, Mr. President. I trust I am not imposing by arriving ahead of schedule. He sounds a bit too much like Peter, but whatever. Not at all, David. On the contrary, we've now got an extra few minutes to strategise. Given the serious topic, early start might be just what we need. Now let's strategise. I'm relieved to hear that, Anton. I departed earlier for my appointments nowadays, as the stairs of the capital have become more of a challenge than I would like to admit. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Would you like some coffee? It's not the stairs we're battling, it's relentless march of time. The Maroon District and the ministerial buildings are dispersed in a very artificial way, and I wonder it takes longer. I'd like to clear my mind. We'll offer him some tea and coffee. Yes, I did see that Lowe supports multiculturalism. It's just I don't understand how it's not entirely collapsed at this point. It was bad enough when he said, I detest ethno-nationalism and neo-Nazism. Now he's saying he's pro-multiculturalism. That, by the way, is actually to the left of Kemi Badenoch. Just saying. I've already had my tea today, as per my doctor's advice. She suggests chamomile in the morning and sage tea in the evening for optimal health. That's really boring. Listen to the doctor does bring me some comfort. It feels as though my throat has been refreshed thanks to her. Maybe I should start having caramel tea, because doing all these voices actually really hurts my throat. His gaze drifted, locking on something beyond the window. A colossal zeppelin traversed the sky above the Maroon District. For a fleet moment, it blotted out the sun before gently veering to the left, letting light flood the office once more. I'm not sure who Jonathan Hinder is, Darius. At least not off the top of my head, and I can't really check who he is at the moment either. I still remember the first airships in Swordland. We'd purchased them from Quinaul after the war, during the birth of what Sol called the Second Republic. Our infrastructure lay in ruins, and those zeppelins offered much-needed lifeline, a chance to traverse and rebuild. And then, thanks to our research council's diligent efforts, we started manufacturing our own Gelsword. Regional capital. Alright, okay. In Gelsword, right. Probably like Grimsby. I opened Twitter and the first tweet's the new low Biden controversy. It's every day. It is every day. I don't understand how they're so shameless as to pretend nothing's going wrong. It's like lobotomites are literally acting like that famous Iraq picture with the general saying like nothing to see here while Gaddafi's being executed. It's fantastic to think how much we've depended on foreign help after the war. We've come a long way since. Manufacturing of Zeppelins was truly a turning point. Do you think we might have leaned too heavily on Zeppelins for transportation? Perhaps we should have invested more in rebuilding roads and railways. In fact, yeah, that does make sense. Zeppelins are really inefficient. An interesting point. Perhaps a more balanced approach would have served us better. In the aftermath of the Civil War, it was about immediate solutions, and Zeppelins offered just that. Is there any Labour people you'd like to see join Reform? Lord Glassman's the obvious one. Honestly, Mike Tapp's been pretty good on immigration. I actually wouldn't really mind Mike Tapp, but he is a bit of a weirdo. Then again, how politicians are. They're the only two I can think off the top of my head, though. And Glassman's obviously a lord, so that doesn't really help. Our reliance on others was temporary, a stepping stone towards the self-sufficiency we achieved with the National Autarky Plan. Even though it had downsides, I still consider it a success. It was an economic policy by Sol during the tenure and leader of Sordland in the 30s. It aimed to promote national self-sufficiency and reduce Sordland's dependence on foreign imports and investment. Right, fair enough. A pause fell over the room. David's glaze landed on the portrait of Sol hanging in the presidential office. His eyes lingered on the stern face of the old leader. A sigh escaped his lips. Now, when I think of the EPA, my mind is carried back to the formative years of the post-Civil War household in the 30s. The debate, the passion, the potential for transformation, it was a time of renewed optimism. He's insufferable. Tap should tap out of politics. Listen, you do need insufferable people on your side sometimes, I'm afraid. Oh, Katie Hoey, yeah, she's not... I think we're talking about current Labour MPs, but it's kind of shocking Hoey hasn't already joined Reform, but I think she might be one of these people that doesn't like Farage, you know, post everything. It is our duty now to learn from the past and strive for a better future. What applied back then will not apply now. I see why the EPA was so crucial. We had to safeguard our energy from foreign interference, especially in the context of Civil War economics. Life in Whole Sword was tough. I remember that Sol's pawns, 2 armed rebels, did a lot to quell the rampant unrest. Right, well, yes, we need to change the EPA. Hello, Glory of Death. Yes, the EPA helped ensure that the sector remained under control, limiting the extent of ownership of foreign powers such as Ramborg or Lespia. Despite the controversies, it was crucial to our recovery and helped us maintain our energy independence to this day. I did not agree with all the measures enacted by the technocratic government of that era. Some were undeniably effective. In the end, it took a collective effort to resemble our nation's fragmented pieces. I'm sure you remember those dark days yourself. I know you were just a student at the Lachlan Business School, far from Whole Sword, but the armed rebels did reach your area. It was a surreal time studying business principles while chaos ensued. Those disturbances did not deter me from my studies. In fact, they reinforced the importance of my education. Well, no, the first one. My accent is turning Jamaican-y. Listen, I'm trying to. I have to remember about 20 different characters' accents. They're gonna bush into each other, I'm afraid. Harry would be a good Northern Ireland secretary, though. Stability and order is important to our nation, yet sometimes disorder is necessary for change. David turned towards the large framed portraits of his father, Arthur Sanako Whiskey. Hanging on the wall, painted with rich, warm hues, it captured the first president of Sordland in his prime. Great game, DLC fun too. I'll be playing the DLC in a few months' time. Is that Anthony Hopkins? A spark of determination gleamed in his eyes, and his mouth was set in a gentle, firm smile, a reflection of his belief in a better future for our democracy. Your father's legacy still looms large. Has it influenced your own views? Sordland wouldn't be what it is today without your father. Let's go with that one. Yes, my father's leadership laid the foundation for Sordland we know. His policies were aimed at building a secular and democratic state where every citizen's rights are protected. He believed in a Sordland where modern and forward-looking. Everything he did was aimed at fostering progress, even his controversial embrace of foreign ideologies. He looked back at the portrait with a mix of pride and sadness. In a way, Tarkin Sol did carry my father's legacy. Under his leadership, we transitioned from a military government to a civilian one, and experienced our first multi-party election. But over time he drifted away from his ideals of reform and progress that my father held so dear. His visionary seal succumbs to the more pragmatic, more conservative, and sometimes even regressive dictates of political survival. A Cornish councillor is defected to restore from reform. The Cornish ones are weird, they'll do that, annoyingly. Perhaps history would have taken a different course of the Isam incident hadn't it happened. Still, one must credit Tarquin's soul for extracting our nation from the ashes. In retrospect, his early resignation might have been beneficial. His ingrained traditions seem to have done more harm than good in the long run. We're indebted to him. The principles of Solism hold a special place in my heart to continue to guide my decisions. Yeah, gotta credit Sol. No one can deny Sol's contribution. His leadership was instrumental in rebuilding Swordland. I thought we were supposed to be strategizing the EPA here. Alfonso, for all his flaws, did seek to set the nation back on a path of progress with his focus on free markets and economic liberalisation. His EPA amendments, for example, were a severe departure from Sol's national autarky plan. But many praised the way it opened the door for unprecedented foreign investment in our energy economy. The NAP was the cornerstone of our post-war recovery. I wonder if we could have done more. First it was the State Educators Corps, then the SC Bill, then slowly the EPA. He wanted to erase every trace of Sol's Second Republic. Those amendments opened the door to corruption. Do you think the EPA holds reverence today, or shall we consider a complete overhaul? Yeah, that one. The EPA has its roots in a different era. While some of its principles may still hold, we must not shy away from revising it in the light of our current needs and challenges. Just as the conversation hit a pause, the door swung open and other ministers arrived. Simon Hull entered first with a confident stride. I can't remember this guy's voice. Look at them, the propellers. I was watching YouTube earlier and I see a live interview with Rupert Lowe, and I clicked it for 2 seconds and he said the multicultural line. I knew people would be up in arms about it. Oh yeah, I'm shocked at how many ethno-nationalists are still like holding out hope for Restore. I don't get it at this point. It's such delusion. My head's like fallen out of my ears. GooseSpringsteen for £10, thank you Goose. Don't destroy my dreams of a future with a great usage of airships, Haryan. They're so cool. I want my future of Amazon braided airships vomiting delivery drones across the country during Prime Day. They're woefully inefficient machines, I'm afraid. They are best for advertising, and that's pretty much it. They look cool, I won't deny that, but I don't understand how they were efficient enough to bring Swordland out of an economic crisis, but there we go. Well, to be fair, it'd be very bad after a civil war. Good morning, Mr. President. Diffid, I trust the discussion is progressing well. Lilias followed closely behind. She walked in with an air of calm authority, her gaze sweeping across the room. Gentlemen, I hope I'm not interrupting anything crucial. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see you all here. We have some important discussions on the agenda today, particularly the EPA. Thank you, David. I appreciate the urgency. Let's get right to the matter. It's a critical issue that we need everyone to address. I look forward to hearing everyone's perspective. Today we have the opportunity to shape the economic strategy of Swordland for the decades to come. The EPA has long stood as a key contention and debate point of the National Autarky Plan. This matters is a discussion on how Swordland sees itself and how we position ourselves in the world. Our nation has taken a very different economic approach in the last 4 decades. They're just being paid to support him, but the money will run out, and that will be when Rupert can go live in the US, just like Douglas Carswell. I don't think Rupert would go, to be fair. I think it's basically everyone around him. I can see, like, I can see Carl Benjamin moving to America. Charlie Downs, the rest of the Zuma Waffen, they'll probably move to America. Like, because what do they have here? They've burned all their bridges. No one really likes them. They've got what? The New Culture Forum? Who cares? I've always been a New Culture Forum disrespecter, by the way. I've never particularly been impressed with that channel, but there we go. Mr. President has decided to lean on promoting a market economy, which should give us a clear indicator. Even if we manage to stabilise our economy, loosening the EPA's regulations could still be beneficial. By creating an attractive environment for foreign investors, we can ensure that Swordland is not merely surviving, but thriving in the long term. Promoting the market economy does not inherently translate to prosperity for all. It can lead to a concentration of wealth, with the rich getting richer while the middle and working classes struggle. Shut up. We need to ensure that the benefits of economic growth are shared equitably across all layers of Swordish society. It doesn't actually have to be equal. As I was saying actually at the start of the stream, just like in Britain, we need people to move to where the wealth is being created. Same thing needs to happen with Swordland. Sorry, I get like the rural areas need a bit of subsidy to keep going, because, you know, we need some food being grown in Swordland, but, you know, it doesn't mean that it has to be as equal as the capital. I couldn't agree more. The welfare of our citizens should be the primary concern. I believe the free market fosters competition, which leads to innovation and economic growth. The perspective provides value. It's important we consider our potential. I respect your stance. I must disagree. Yeah, I'm just telling her like it is. Sorry. I think you are misguided in the way of thinking. But of course we're allowed to hold differing opinions. I have always hated that retort to I disagree. Just saying, well, you're obviously allowed to have that. Yeah, I know. I don't need you telling me I have permission to hold an opinion. Mr. President, Lilias, shall we return to the subject of the EPA? Our current version of the EPA dates back to 1949. President Alfonso's amendment raises a cap on foreign investment in Swordish energy companies up to 20%. In my view, it was a necessary step to attract foreign investment and stimulate our economy. But we must remember that Swordland was facing an economic crisis during his tenure, and these changes provided a lifeline for our energy industries. Wasn't the change a sign of desperation? Did the increased foreign ownership lead to substantial growth? When the changes were first implemented, I harboured reservations. I say your view, Sol's old policy was choking the growth. Yeah, I agree. Many others also saw Alfonso's changes as necessary, though they did not pass without a great deal of controversy. In the end, the changes to the EPA did facilitate foreign investment, even if they didn't lead to a drastic uptick in economic growth. GooseSpringsteen for a fiver. It's been hilarious when the mainstream realised that Lowe has virtually nothing to do with his Twitter. He's a skin suit being worn by the Zoomerwaffen. They all know that. There was a great Daily Tea episode where just after Makefield they were talking about the 7% that Restore got, and Tim Stanley was like, can we please stop talking about them now? The thing is that we've known for ages, it's full of Nazis, it's completely embarrassing. The way they're run is an absolute marvel of chaos. We know that they basically only got where they got to because Elon Musk is backing them. They're being pushed on Twitter and have a massive social media game. We get it. We know what the limit of that is now. We've known how much of a mess they are, and we know that they're full of racists and Nazis, and that's disgusting. Can we stop talking about them now? It's really boring. The media know about all that. They're just not reporting on it as much as they should, and I think they left it a bit late to have a go at them, you know, half a week before the election, but that is how they're seen now, generally by the media, just the new party of cranks, so we'll have to see where it goes. Those clips, by the way, of Charlie Downs versus Femi was all over TikTok, and people were not on Charlie's side, just saying. The Assembly has spoken on this matter, and it stands. The EPA will not be repealed. It's clear that our colleagues have recognised the potential risks of exposing the energy sector to foreign ownership. While it doesn't end the debate, it does underline the importance of respecting our Assembly's decision. I don't respect the Assembly's decision, I wholeheartedly support it. A fair point, we must respect the decision of the Assembly, even if it doesn't align with our views. The Assembly's decision has been made, but doesn't that mean we will stop advocating for what we believe is right? It's disappointing to see the Assembly resist this change. Our debate is definitely not over. I'll go with that one. I'm completely open to repealing this act, so. I respect the decision of the Assembly, Lilias. However, we mustn't allow this setback to deter us from exploring our options. The global landscape is ever evolving, and we must adapt accordingly. It is also important to remember that the Assembly's decision is not the final word. There is room for further legislative efforts and executive initiatives. When it comes to the Energy Protection Act, I believe we should increase our threshold for foreign investment. My preference would be to remove the threshold entirely. I'm fine with repealing it completely, to be honest. Sorry, Barry Blair, I know, but it seems quite a lucrative area of our economy, and the fact of the matter is that if we can hyper speed up investment, it helps everyone, and we can tax it. Downs makes a pro-EU Downs makes a pro-EU, loses to Femi. I know. This would undoubtedly strengthen energy institutions such as Gasom and Sordish Petroleum. We've seen Rizia's interest in the former, and I know Lesbia has had its eyes on the latter for some time. That is precisely what I'm worried about. We have to remember that we're dealing with national security as well as economics. Reverting to the solely at 10% limit or keeping the law as it is would be a safer approach. Shut up, Lilias. We cannot risk our energy infrastructure falling into foreign hands, especially not Rumburg. I see merits in both your arguments. Yes, we need to protect our national security, but we also need to consider the economic implications. Perhaps a mixed approach would work best. What if we increase the limit to 49%, thereby attracting foreign investment while maintaining Sordish control over critical energy sectors? This, by the way, is what Thatcher did. This is incredibly Thatcherite. Yes, David, we are going to go the Thatcher route. Consider the potential foreign buyers such as all these. What's the worst case scenario if they gain control? Well, actually, I want to see what their reasoning is for that. How would the EPA change the impact of corporations like Gasom? You mentioned national security. Could you elaborate? These are all asking the same thing. Go on. What's the worst case scenario? Think about it, Mr. President. If any one of those countries, but especially Rumburg, gains control of our energy sector, they could cut off our power at any moment. We would also be forced to comply with any decisions they made regarding prices or environmental measures. I don't think that's necessarily true. I'm not being funny. I hate to say it, but Venezuela, you can just seize the means of production. It's really bad for your economy, but also if they know that's at risk, they're not going to push it too far. There is no denying the potential risks of foreign buyers gaining control over critical sectors. If we increase the foreign ownership threshold to 49%, we can attract more investment while mitigating those risks. While we may see entities from Quinel, Rizia, Anraka, Rumburg, or Lesbia as potential threats, it's also crucial to see them as potential partners. The scenarios Lilias mentioned are possible, of course, but I think about economic growth and international relations that could be fostered. If we aim to deal more closely with Lesbia, for example, I very much doubt they'll settle for a mere 49% energy investment. Well, tough tits, I guess. How would the Energy Protection Act change impact corporations like Gasom, which could sell any entity under the revised law? I believe you already know the answer to this, Mr. President, yet we'll answer it anyway. Gasom could fall under foreign control just like any other energy corporation. On the other hand, foreign investment would result in increased resources flowing to Gasom and its ilk, and those resources could be channeled into further development of our energy sector. Yes, Gasom could potentially sell to anyone, but wouldn't that be a show of the strength and attractiveness of our energy sector on the global stage? Lily actually mentioned national security risk. Could you elaborate on that? The national security risks are significant. Foreign entities could use their stake in our energy sector and leverage diplomatic and economic negotiations. National security risks are always a concern when discussing foreign ownership, and that's why it's crucial to have thorough vetting and monitoring processes in place. Don't forget about the importance of economic security. Globalized world, economic strength can just be critical as military might. True. But yes, it's essential to maintain strict oversight and regulations to ensure national interests aren't compromised. How would changes to the EPA affect energy prices? Increased foreign investment, we could potentially see a decrease in energy prices, but we should also consider the potential impacts on job security and national control of energy sector. Changing the EPA could lead to increased energy prices, as foreign entities could manipulate the markets. With increased competition and foreign investment, we could see a decrease in energy prices. Players in the markets, the more competitive the price will be. We can proceed. It's time to settle this subject. Given the turbulent economic landscape, maintaining the status quo of the EPA could offer stability. We're already open to foreign investment at 20% threshold. Changing this percentage may introduce unexpected challenges and could complicate our foreign relations. I firmly believe in sovereignty and strength of our nation. Return the threshold as 10% as it was during Sol, and that could protect us from undue foreign interference and ensure our energy sector remains in Sordish hands. Heard Danny Kruger might be foreign sec in an article by LBC. Seems to be talking a lot about foreign policy issues and defence. Wouldn't be a bad pick, but I think he should be chief of staff. I mean, to be honest with you, if I was reform anyway, I'd be thinking of merging quite a few of these things together anyway. I mean, think about Richard Tice, he's business and net zero, so think about that. While I maintain that increasing foreign investment could significantly stimulate our economy, an increase to 49% could be the balanced compromise, signalling that Swordland is open for business while retaining majority control. But some potential partners, particularly ATO countries, might regard even that as insufficient. Arcasian Tree... Oh yeah, that's the free market, lads. Must consider the far-reaching implications of our actions, especially in light of our recent dealings with Gasson. Mr. President, your decision to pursue co-investment with Rizia allows us to distribute the financial burden and mitigate risks. It also promotes regional cooperation, aligning well with our fiscal policies. Joint venture with Rizia is strategic, not concession. Partnership secures our place in the global landscape. Regional cooperation, pragmatic move, beneficial. We'll go with that first one. Simon meticulously adjusts his glasses. With Swordland and Rizia co-investing in Gasson, there's a chance to build his partnership that benefits both our economies. However, we adjust the EPA could significantly impact the outcome. Sharing the burden with Rizia does provide some reassurance. Zia user for all jobs, bro. He'll save us on his own. True, and Zia pilled. However, if we raise the foreign ownership threshold, we must be wary of the influence of Rumborg. Listen, right, I get it about Rumborg, alright? But I think we'll be okay. Partnership with Rizia has proven beneficial. We maintain the current threshold. Perhaps we should consider removing the threshold. Could propel Gasson. Where points are valid, we can't ignore economic benefits. Raising the threshold, even if we're sharing investment with Rizia, we should still prioritise storage control. No, we're raising the threshold. We are doing that. That is the best option. I understand the potential economic benefits, but we can't compromise our sovereignty for profits. Watch me. Increasing the threshold might attract more foreign investors and increase the value of our stake, but of course we should ensure that Swordland's interests are safeguarded. Opting for a more balanced approach that aligns well with our objectives or maintaining positive trade relations without compromising sovereignty. We have to consider long-term impact. Foreign investment might bring immediate financial gain, but we risk losing control. How? You have the golden share. We should be more aggressive in attracting foreign investment. After all, the thriving energy sector can be a major driver of economic growth. True. That's what England needs. Zia for king. Well, Zia is, after all, the Shadow King. I would say we've covered the implications of your EPA decision fairly thoroughly. Our actions should be guided by the best interests of our nation. Mr. President, it's time for us to make a decision. What will we do with the EPA? Remove it altogether, put it to 49, keep it at 20, well, yeah, put it to 49. We will increase the foreign ownership threshold to 49%, and this will increase foreign investment. A balanced approach will serve us well. This could attract significant foreign investment. It's a substantial increase. I fear we're opening ourselves up too much. The door to the room opened. Livia Suno carried a tray laden with assortment of beverages. She's a little clumsy as she manoeuvred around the room, refilling cups and glasses with tea, coffee and water. Excuse me, gentlemen and madam. I didn't mean to interrupt. Would you like a drink, Mr. President? Coffee, tea, water. We'll have a tea. Very well, Mr. President. Here's your tea. Livia finished serving the beverages and retreated toward the door. She glanced around the room one last time before quietly backing out. The meeting resumed and our conversation grew slightly louder with the clink of cups and glasses. While we are here, I will inform you that I've been lending my expertise to Minister Bennywell in relation to the Workers' Rights Bill. I believe it's crucial to ensure fair treatment of our workforce and it's nearing presentation. Your collaboration is commendable and I hope to bring about positive change. Workers' rights are important, but we need to ensure the bill doesn't introduce excessive regulations that stifle businesses. I understand your concern, Mr. President, and we are aiming to strike a balance between rights of workers and business. Haryan should brace for a Brexit in 3 turns, and then I spend 3 more turns trying to stop it. Oh, goodness me. Oh, Zia liked one of my tweets. God, he's a good lad. Agreed. The last thing we need is to be overburdened our businesses with regulations. Regulations are what prevent our businesses from exploiting vulnerable citizens, Mr. Hall. Oh, you're just a ray of sunshine. Anyway, we've been working on our upcoming term budget meeting and proposals for business taxation changes. We're considering a range of 10% tax changes for small to medium enterprises and large corporations. This could be a significant move for our economic landscape. Such taxation could indeed invigorate the economy, but we must ensure it doesn't burden our SMEs unduly. That's small and medium enterprises. We should be careful with large changes to taxation, could have unintended consequences. I'm satisfied that we are executing bold changes after the administration. I'm worried about the small business. I appreciate your insight, Mr. President. Ensuring the survival and growth of our SMEs is at the forefront of our consideration. Taxes could indeed make a significant impact to our economy. We must consider their implication carefully. Large private corporations have enjoyed significant benefits and loopholes for far too long. They should pay their fair share. Why do we have a communist in the cabinet? What's wrong with it? All the ministers rose from their seats. The late morning light spilled into the room through the ornate window. It seemed to signal the conclusion of the meeting. Our work is our legacy. Let's make whatever. Thank you all for your insights. Our unity is strength. We made some important decisions. Let's wrap up and reconvene. Have a great afternoon. Whatever. Thank you for the discussion. I'll continue working on our priorities. Goodbye, everyone. See you at the term budget meeting. Till next time, dear colleagues, take care and see you soon. Haryana. Aww. Listen, I'm good at impressions, alright? EPA increased to 49, a pathway to economic prosperity. You'd hope so, economists. Doesn't just shift a number, it opens the door for Swordland's economy, paving the way for global collaboration. A risky endeavour. Nah, it's fine. A risky move. Why is everyone saying it's... Oh, well, Swordland's the nationalist one, so... Haryan is as PPS at next general election. I hope so. He follows me, so I'm already halfway there. Right. The EPA... Yeah, changed it to 42. Cool. The economy's in danger. Oh, balanced energy prices. Swordland is currently enjoying a period of balanced energy prices, reflecting stability in supply and demand within the sector. We did it, fellas. We got a free market in the end. Currently, Swordland is having a better time with its energy market than Britain. How does that make you feel? Makes me feel awful. Right. Go on, what's in Lachavan? Or Lachaven? Dinner with the business council members. Go on then. We're in Lachaven. I wish it would give you, like, how do you actually say that? I take it it's Lachaven. To work on the business council and assess weaknesses in the economy, Simon organised a dinner with the affluent economic figureheads of Swordland. When we arrived, the streets were bustling with activity, even though the atmosphere in the country was tense. Lachaveners didn't seem very worried. Rosendale followed me back recently. I need to follow Rosendale. I actually met him once as well. Together with Walter Tusk, Edith Agnock, Michael Avon and Simon Hull, we entered the renowned Asteria restaurant by the coast. Short blonde man whose embroidered pockets read manager, sounds Aryan, greeted us and waved his arms in excitement as he told us how pleased he was to have us in his establishment. Beaming with pride, he led us to a private room and got us seated at a large table covered for the occasion with a maroon tablecloth. We were quickly served by a group of servers. Walter spoke as they started taking our orders. I'm trying to remember how I did these voices. I recommend the Lachaven salmon, President. You have to taste this local delicacy here. The best in Swordland. Appreciate the advice. Order the salmon. Swordish bean stew. Yeah, we'll try the salmon. Guess I have it with rice. The servers placed glasses in front of each of us and served bread and water. After they were done taking orders, they quickly left us alone in the private room. I can't remember. I think this was the Russian woman. Sorry, I need to get the Russian accent in place now. So Gabliat, Mr. President. That's a man. Mr. President. I didn't have the possibility to thank you for coming today. Your presence means a great deal. Who's this guy? Did I do an accent for this guy? He's sort of Turkish, but I don't know how to do a Turkish accent. Indeed, sir. It's an honour to dine. He sort of looks like me, to be honest. Indeed, sir. It's an honour to dine with you. Thank you. It's great to be here with the members of the Business Council. Who should be Reform's US ambassador? I don't know. Nigel Farage. Honestly, I don't think I know enough. I don't really know enough politicians who have a good relationship with the US to really put it down. Could be Aaron Banks if he knows enough Americans. Just do a poor rat's accent. We should thank Simon for organising this meeting. I can't do that, I'll laugh too much. I've already got a guy who sounds like Paul Whitehouse. Oh. We should thank Simon for organising this meeting. No need for that. I hope everyone enjoys the evening. Simon gestured at the expensive-looking red wine bottle that one of the servers had just brought to the table. Mr. President? Nod, looks amazing. Yes, no thank you. Yes? You'll want some, sir. It's Chateau de Valenco from 1934. Yeah, let's try it. Simon poured some wine in my glass and waited for me to taste before filling up. I took a sip. It was bitter. Honestly, tasted like any other wine. How is it? The taste to your liking? Sour and delicate. Tastes like heaven, it's fine. Tastes like any other wine. It's fine. What? This wine doesn't even need testing. Sorry, I did a completely wrong accent there. What? This wine doesn't even need testing. Should I fill your glass or would you like another drink, sir? Yeah, it's okay, I'll drink it. Simon filled up my glass. After filling everybody's glass, Simon stood up and raised his glass. I'd like to raise a toast to all of you here today. We're meeting here tonight in difficult times, but I believe that, with hard work, cooperation and trust, we will get through this period well. I'd like to thank Mr. Rain again for his decisiveness when it comes to economic policies. Sure, we will stop this recession, economy danger. I also thank Mr. Tusk for being here with us today. His presence is an honour. Of course, my colleagues from the Business Council, Mrs. Agnock and Mr. Avon, without you, none of these would have been possible. Let's drink future cooperation and growth. For a proposed Swordland, prosperous Swordland, sorry. Everybody raised their glass and toasted. For a couple more minutes, the servers arrived with meals. Food tasted amazing. Walter was right. This place must have been the best in all of Gláeddyv. So, how did you find the food? The best fine dining restaurant in Gláeddyv, Mr. President. Not a big fan of fancy food. It was very fine food is like fine art, but this one was a particular masterpiece. We'll go with that. I know exactly what you mean. Art is something else. It embodies so much about us and the world surrounding our lives. And food there is an art of everything. The art of making money, food, wine, and love. How are things going at the Maroon Palace? The pleasure must have been increased after you attended that funeral. Pressure was already high, not much changed, it did, but it was the right decision. The future is looking good. The future is looking good. That's great to hear. We conversed with Michael and heard Walter raise his voice at apparent arguments with Edith and Simon, and we both stopped to listen. Kezia knows the right way of doing business. Her approach to the world is real and war. I prefer that cutthroat approach in comparison to the niceties. Well, I mean, it's a nice country to visit too. I have travelled there often on business trips. Their attitude on all countries are nice to visit if you have the cash. Stay silent. Money does turn around, certainly not all. How are the people who don't have extra cash to spend? I'm going to stay silent. It certainly depends on what you are looking for. Cultural tourism doesn't require a fancy hotel. Last time I went somewhere for that sort of thing was at university. Even then, we had our wild times thanks to Conrad's connected entourage. Also, Walter is taking us down that rabbit hole again. By the way, I've heard that you bought a new villa, Simon. I don't comment on rumours, but I'll make an exception since we're among friends. It's true. You're doing a great job, you deserve it. A new villa is a bit much. Where is it? It's a small seaside villa on the outskirts of Conrad. It's just a modest house with swimming pool and small golf course in the property. There's a small golf course? Great city to buy real estate. Conrad is seeing a surge investment. You're becoming a neighbour to Marcel Coronti. That's the media guy. Have you read Game of Thrones? I have read all of Game of Thrones. I did it over university. They are very long books, but I did enjoy them. Not really. His place is very remote. Conrad has a way of pulling certain people in, it seems. Edith, who was sitting to my left, gently pulled her hand over my arm for a few seconds. Come on, let's not talk about finance or politics for now. We came here to relax. She turned to Walter and Simon. Isn't that right, gentlemen? They nodded to her and took a sip from their drinks, and she slightly leaned toward me. So, Mr. Rain, why don't you tell us what's behind this strong character of yours? I heard that you were brought up in the capital and experienced all power shift as it happened. Is that right? That must have been tough. Bro's playing mini-golf in his back garden, he means. It sounds like it's like a 3-hole par 3 course. It's like a pitch and putt. Who knows? Try and leave my past behind and focus on today. It's who we have become that matters. It's a difficult time in the capital, but I've learned a lot about politics. We'll go with that. It all makes sense now. I never met your family, Mr. President. How are they doing, if you don't mind me asking? They're doing great. We've got no problems. That's a lie. It's great to hear. Some must be very proud of you. Family is everything. My advice would be to make sure that Frank has a solid relationship with you. He is your future, after all. Try my best to be a good father. He seems somewhat introverted. He is going through the teenage period. It's difficult to connect with him. Yeah, he's a little shy. I wish that was my son's biggest problem. Darren seems to be doing fine. I saw his yacht party in Benfey made the local news. Well, that rascal didn't even ask for permission to use the yacht and just took it. He basically stole it. Good news is that I finally convinced him to go to university. He will study economics in Lochhaven Business School. It's a good choice. Having a degree in Soul Lord separates you from the rabble. We especially need more people who understand economics. Talking of which, it's great that we have another leader who actually studied economics and understands it, like Mr. Alfonso. Look at what he caused. Studying doesn't get you across the finish line. Alfonso was an inspiration. We're in this mess because of him. Studying doesn't get you to the finish line. True, but I think it's his ambition that brought him down. Too many big changes in a short time frame. Correction. It wasn't his policies that destroyed him. It was the old guard. What do you mean? He threatened their economic power base over the country through a vast privatization plan. They removed him and backed you after. Well, to stop the conspiracy theories, I think we've had enough drinks. Everyone went quiet. After a long silence, followed by some chit-chats, Walter ordered a bottle of whiskey. That one looks like a good bottle. The waiters brought one of the finest Arcadian whiskies, and it was time for a toast. I will toast. To a constructive and beneficial future. May our differences set aside for good fortunes. They say hope dies last. To the future! Raised. I think it's time we all call it a night. Edith stood up. Most of us were still a little tipsy at this point. But thank you, I want to thank you, Mr. President, for joining us, and you, Simon, for putting all this together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining a bunch of ugly rich men. Well, that's definitely not me. But the President of Jokes. Thanks for being here. After bidding our farewells, we slowly walked out of the restaurant. The moon was shining bright, and as everyone except Walter left in their luxury cars. President, a moment alone, please. He called me inside the small VIP lounge. Go on then, what's he want? Usually the Lofberg spokesman doesn't directly comment on the administration, but I'd like to say a few things since this was a special evening. Go on. Finally, a president that listens to the people. It won't be easy to pass the new constitution through the Assembly and the Supreme Court. We could help you get it through, and in return you help us with a few economic requests. Walter lit a cigar and took a few drags before continuing. The consensus is that we see eye to eye in the economic direction you have taken by promoting our market. I'm glad that the group is supportive. Yeah, that's good. There are many who put their trust in you. He smiled and looked me in the eye. You rejected our previous discreet offer to bail out business. This action led to disappointment in them. We are aware of the upcoming tax meeting, and it would be a step in the right direction if private corporations get the tax cut. To boost the economy with job creation, of course, and the positive side effect would be our support to the administration through the entire term. I'll give large corporations a tax cut or make a tax decision objectively, can't promise you anything. Yeah. Oh, let's not be hasty. The recession will end if Lothenburg is on your side, Mr. President. Why can't we all just be friends? Maybe we can, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. Excellent, glad to hear this. The group wants to see private corporation tax cut and privatisation in healthcare and education. I can give private corporation tax cuts and enable privatisation. That's too much. I kind of want a tax cut. It can stimulate the economy. Plus, sort of pays for itself with the EPA change. I sort of want to do it anyway. Let's go for it. Have big business on our side. Oh, the communists will hate it. You get wage increases. Shut up. I'm very satisfied to hear this. To us, a prosperous future of Swordland. He smiled. Glad that we could come to an agreement. See you, President. Walter left and Serge came to pick me up. So we drove to our residence and Serge took the seaside route. Grim, you're a bit late. I've already promised. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. Bill on the rights of workers to be drafted. Don't care. Well, I do because I'm drafting it. Mobile mine disaster. 112 dead. What the hell? Current death toll sits at 112 and many other miners trapped inside. Oh my god, that's a disaster. There's a League of Women march. I mean, to be fair, I am completely open to equal rights for women. I am a feminist after all. President meets with Business Council. Cool. Budget allocation of the government of Swordland. Cool. Done well. Oh, before we do that, we will... Oh, well, I need a drink. Never make promises. Dude, last episode, you were saying I'm, like, making no allies. I have to promise something to get allies. Such a bad president. Sorry, fellas, my British flag was falling off the door. Unless I have to. Well, my defence of that promise is that I was probably going to do it anyway, so if I'm going to do it anyway, why not make the promise? That's my basic argument there. An avalanche of coal. Oh, I remember when Tom Jones on Twitter was trying to call something coal, and he got the avalanche of coal thumbnail that was Abafan, and a load of people told him, don't use that one, because that is still a disaster that a lot of people know about and are very, very sad over, because, justifiably by the way, because there is an awful lot of people who still see that disaster and don't feel like they had justice from it because a load of kids died. Like an entire village of kids. Horrible. Is this a Paradox game? This is not a Paradox game, no. This is some other indie game that is very good. So, the preparations for the government budget were finished. Most of the cabinet gathered in the White Room for the important occasion. Nearly half a year had passed since my inauguration and the cabinet looked overworked. Wow, everyone is here. Right, there's poor White House, so at least we have a change of accent there. I just need to remember how to sound like a Cockney. I would like to use this opportunity for a statement, and now the moment we've all been waiting for. It's finally time to discuss government budget. Welcome everyone, great to see you. Hello. Mr. President. Sadly, Peter Vecton, Gus Manga, and David Visky will not be attending this meeting. They are working on the upcoming trade agreements with Huethan and Agnolia. May the Lord be with them. Kiara gave a barely disguised eye roll. Did you just roll your eyes at me, young lady? Oh, is this the Russian one? This might have been the Russian one. Suka, bled. If I... I nearly did a Borat. If I did, it is because religion has no place at a government budget meeting. Merely expressing my wishes for a successful trade deal. Freedom of expression must be protected at all costs, must it not, Miss Mogner? Actually, in this case, I agree with Sia, Miss Welder. Kiara flashed her an appreciative smile. According to Swordland law regarding the separation of sanctuary and state, she broke off as she noticed that Simon, Lucian, and Iosef were looking at 3 female ministers in stony silence. Ladies, let's leave the extraneous chit-chat for afternoon tea. That really reminded me of the QI moment where they had 2 women on it and Jack D was one of the panellists as well. Stephen Fry asked the question, like, why aren't more women on panel shows? And the 2 women just chat utter nonsense for a good 2 minutes until Jack D presses his button to interrupt and says, are they not on panel shows because once they start talking you can't get them to shut up? That reminded me of that joke. That's still Borat, bro. No! Please leave your religion at the Marine Palace. The Lord is also... Oh, based Christian. The Lord is always welcome in these halls, Miss Walder. Simon started loudly shuffling some documents around. All eyes turned to the Minister of the Economy. Let's begin, Mr. Hull. Thanks to Simon's expertise, I'm sure we'll achieve a lot of great things. Thank you for the compliment. Today is a big day. Let's prioritise our spending wisely in order to achieve our goals and set a government. While maintaining enough political support, if I may add, promises were made during the election. There are 3 options regarding the budgeting of the 4 main branches of the government. It's either we increase, maintain, or decrease the funding. Increasing will result in an improvement of the branch, which will unlock new policy options. Maintaining will increase the funding, resulting in new visible change. Decreasing causes a loss of efficiency in the branch. Can rely on the private sector to support us. Sure, we can do that to a certain extent in some branches, like education and health. Yes, 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 yes. A universal healthcare system must be protected. It is not to be tainted by private greed or interests. I don't care. We need to be considerate when making such grand choices, to have ripple effects. We have to be careful as to what we fund so we have resources remaining for another investment project. We should prioritise the most critical branches. We have to keep true to the election promises. Our people voted for us for the promises we made. As much as we realistically can. If we fail at improving the economy, promises don't mean much in the big picture. Before we begin our discussion, there is one more thing I would like to voice my opinion on. As we manage the government budget, we can go into debt to invest in different branches. However, under these circumstances, it would worsen the economic crisis if we push it too far. It's difficult for us to raise debt with the current unhealthy economy, but we can increase the amount of debt we can take as the economy improves. We should spend as much as possible to achieve growth. We are going to be fiscally conservative, socially liberal. We are going to be Bill Clinton. Our administration should be fiscally conservative to avoid a crash. Measures of austerity have shown difficulties in appeasing voter groups. Given the current state of the country, improving economic situation is a political priority right now. So than ever, we want to win in the 58 election. The budget will be applicable to our entire term. It is very critical we plan correctly. So let's begin. Which branch should we discuss first? Healthcare. Our healthcare system is vast and provides free services to most of our citizens. However, the quality of our healthcare is far worse in low-income and rural areas. Therefore, I think we should receive more funding to address this disparity. I agree. Why did I do this? She's a woman. I agree. We have recently begun an investment into healthcare in Narbel, and the numbers are not good. If we don't increase spending on health services, we at least need to maintain it. Otherwise, we're putting lives at risk. We just started a new analysis on what would happen if a pandemic struck Swordland, or COVID. According to the results, our healthcare facilities remain in the current state. The death toll will be unimaginable. Yeah, I'm not even talking about the damage to the economy. It's a matter of life and death, Mr. President, and it should be treated as such. That's indeed worrying. We should try and fix whatever we can. It's only if a pandemic happens, we need to improve healthcare. What else? What are we here for if we can't keep our people alive? Let's discuss the law. I would like to have an increase in the funding of law enforcement to increase the size of police force and raise salaries. With so many internal threats to tackle, I'm sure we're already stretching our units too thin with the limited resources allocated. Nia clears her throat. Law enforcement is certainly a high priority. However, I feel tackling internal corruption is of far higher importance than increasing our police presence. Directing the funds to my department would solve the problem at its root. If corruption is still rampant, all the police in the world won't help us. We need a specialised anti-corruption police unit, which we could create if the funds were directed to me. I agree with Miss Mogner. We should not reward a structure that is responsible for an ever-increasing number of human rights violations. Additionally, corruption is the reason our government inefficiencies. It needs to be tackled. Chekhov's gun, all the Chekhov guns. The police are here to serve and protect the people of Swordland, Miss Walder, and that's exactly what we're doing. More funding will allow us to take care of our police force. It's quite a simple choice given the current state of the country. I agree with Lilius. If it were another time, I would have said something different, but we know the current situation. No, we need to... Sorry, it's going to the police. I know there's going to be a corruption crisis, but at the end of the day, you know, I want 1 billion Gene Hunts on the force. You know, he's never put a man behind bars who didn't deserve it. Just saying. Right, what about the military? What is there to hear about? I already voiced my opinions. Rumburg is coming whether we like it or not. If not this year, next year. If not next year, the year after that. Mr. President, you and I have a shared responsibility to protect this nation from its enemies. I intend to do so until my last breath. I will say this with certainty. Rumburg doesn't make a move against Swordland in 2 or 3 years. My name is not Josef Lancia. Josef was beginning to lose control of the volume of his voice. There can be no argument against increasing the budget for our army when there is an enemy on our doorstep, waiting for us to make one wrong move. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a fool. That is really hurting my voice. Mr. Lancia. Right. Pardon my theatrics, sir, but this is a serious matter. The future of our country is up to you, Mr. President. Well, here is an argument. The armed forces does nothing but eat away financial resources destined for our people while stoking fear for an upcoming war. The issues with Rumburg can be solved diplomatically. What kind of message are we sending to them and the whole world if we suddenly start ramping up the military budget? That we are ready to defend our nation, Miss Walder. Exactly. One of the reasons our government was elected was because we promised we were going to focus on the military during our campaign. People elected us and we will answer their needs. Easy enough. What about education? Our education system is lacking, not only in funding, but in modern curricular principles. I'm moving to French there, hang on. Our outdated curriculum is wasted on our youth. That is the reason why I advocate 2 things. Increase in the budget to improve access to education in rural areas and new education reform. To be honest, Swordland is lacking compared to Arcasia and United Contana. When it comes to education levels, the backbone of any country is the people and we protect our future. We need to ensure that the new generation is as well educated as the counterparts in modern countries. I agree. Nonsense. What the? Nonsense. Swordland is still here because of this very system you insult. How can you insult a system that teaches our sons and daughters the principles of national identity and pride? Oh right, yeah, fair. We won't be compared to other countries. Swordland is Swordland. I won't go that far. I agree with Lilius. Swordland is Swordland. This is right. Pave our own path. We don't get this far by imitating Arcadia. High time we invest in education, and I'll say I'll think about that, because more investment fine, but we don't need the reforms. I gutted the education to spike Yara and save cash. Win-win. Fair. I've made up my mind about the budget. We can proceed. Very good talking points from everyone. Oh, very good talking points from everyone. Well then, time to make a decision on the budget has come. Consider it with care. Simon placed a stack of papers. Let's turn to the first page. Right, healthcare. Alright, maintain, increase or decrease. I think we've got to maintain healthcare. Increase, lower up. Whoa! Okay. Final budget -2 isn't great. Don't really want to decrease anything though. Oh, this is where difficult decisions comes in. I really, really, really don't want to go into debt. I really don't want to go into debt. But increasing law and order might be helpful, but -2 is just not worth it. I don't think it's worth it. If it was -1, I'd be pushed into it. Do you see, you have to make feel burn about a major drop in approval? Yeah. It's the problem with the modern politician. Like, people just hate politicians, so the more they know about you, the more they dislike you. That's just modern politics, unfortunately. Anyway, I will only increase the military budget so far. No, I'm not sure about this decision, but we're going for it. I finished allocating the government budget to the satisfaction of some cabinet members and dismay of others. They and I knew this would define a significant part of our term. Have a good budget surplus left for investments and other needs. Very good. Agreed. Well then, let's start with law enforcement. Lilias leaned forward and put her hand on her chin. Neil was looking down at the floor. I suppose we'll have to make do with what we have. It's not the best situation for us. I'm not sure what we'll be able to do if the budget doesn't change. Any statements on the matter, sir? I trust you to push the Ministry of Interior and Justice forward. The continuation of the existing set of budgetary conditions is in order. Yeah, I trust you to make the right decisions. I'm not good at this. -2 is fine. It might well be, but I am LARPing as a hyper capitalist, and I absolutely hate debt when I'm in an economic danger, I'm afraid. Our efforts will be on maintaining order with what we have. Here I was thinking the Reign administration would be on the side of law and justice. Let's hear from the Minister of Education. Keeping the same budget will just result in the same problems, but I prefer this over a decrease. I'll try to reform the system with my own resources. Our future depends on our children. Education is the first step in the fight against ignorance. My expectation is to maintain education services with the same budget. It seems we have no other choice but to depend on what little we have. What will our children think of us? Military next. Chiara clearly wasn't finished, but didn't interject. Joseph chimed in. It's an honour to serve with a president that respects the military. Trust me, with these funds, our armed forces will be better than ever. You have kept your promise, so focus on the military, an honourable and fitting decision. Lucian seemed as if he was about to say something, but looked down at his notepad when Ios fired him. Do you think we stand a chance of the Manchester mayoral race? It's changed to supplementary voting, so Labour's going to be the biggest opponent there, unfortunately. Unless everyone randomly says Greens instead of Labour for their second choice. Military is the top priority. Yeah, it is the top priority. And you can count on your decision making, Mr. President. Joseph leaned back. Let's hear from Mr. Bennywell. I can't say that maintaining the funding is negative, but I don't think our services will perform any better. Welfare must remain a priority for our term. There is no other way around it. Your opinions are noted. Your task is to improve the care of the country, which will be very difficult to accomplish without an increase in funds. That covers all branches. Every minister will approach you with their respective policy requests and expectations over the next year. Thank you for your time and participation in this significant moment. The meeting is concluded. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your time. Regardless of what happens, you wouldn't be here without you. Don't forget we're a team. Ministers bade farewell. Some were better than others. The cabinet slowly dispersed out the White Room. The budget for the term was concluded. Right. Increase funding. Happy military personnel. Well, that's good. Consistent economy. The economy is closely aligned with the type of development doctrine that we are promoting, which emphasises the importance of promoting a sustainable economic growth, enhancing global competitiveness. You see, there's Grim in the chat saying, I'm not good at this. I've saved the economy. It's consistent. It's good. Stop whinging. So the Sordish government budget. 18 hours of negotiations. Oh my god. The government envisages spending 13 billion Ren next year, almost 2 billion more than this year. The 54 budget sees the first measure for more external security being introduced. The Ministry of Defence, by far the largest ministry in Swordland, sees its budgets grow more than expected, which is likely benefit the quality of the military equipment and allows for further expansion of the forces. Mr. Lancier has expressed his gratitude for the increase in defence budget. Cool. Cool, cool. If you could choose one office to run under reform, what would it be? Not PM. What, you mean an office that I want to be in? I'd want to go into the Department for Energy. Because it's my expertise, really. Right, let's continue. Grim, if I get assassinated, then I apologise. You were right, and I'm really bad at this game. Oh, I completed Chapter 1. A new Swordland. Right, what's in the news? The economy's still in danger. The minimum's -20. That's insane. I don't want connections. Where do I see the... is it in the overview? There's a graph for the economy and I can't remember where it is. I don't want that. I don't want demographics. Do I want demographics? No. I can't remember where I see the economy over time. Which is very annoying because I do want to see it. Oh well. A country over it? No. Can't remember how you see it, it's very annoying. Anyway, what's in the news? Former President Seoul's open hospitality. It's demonstrated unexpected warmth when he was invited to a local fisherman to his Dory Island residence for afternoon tea. Okay. Hey, Gelsword won the league. Hooray, well done. Prime Minister Alvarez of Lesbia visits Palais, whatever, offers support amid tensions with Rizia. Valgsland Navy Forces, Agnolia drill ship to retreat. Ooh, that's not good. Casia fire the M4 intercontinental ballistic missile. Well done. Contana's Congress address State of the Union and revolutionary expansion. Workers' Rights Act. Okay, let's go. -1 to the government budget. Fuck that. Section 1 of this bill sets the groundwork for fair compensation by establishing a minimum wage. Absolutely not. Addresses the issue of excessive labour. Maximum limit of 60-hour work. No, not having that. Introduces the concept of double overtime pay. Any work performed before 40-hour work week will be compensated at twice the normal hourly wage. No. Focuses on the workers' safety and humane work conditions. It mandates that employers must take all necessary... If this was just Section 4, I'd do it, but no, I'm vetoing that. Not having that. That is absurd. I'm not having a minimum wage. And no doubt Grim's got to be in the chat saying, you're terrible. Despite very recent the mine disaster, which... Oh no! I didn't think of the mines. That's such a bad opening line. Oh, Caleb's gonna watch through this and clip this bit because I've just I might actually get assassinated by the communists. Oh god. So yeah, it calls outcry in Morbel. Do I not care for the miners? No. Chad, no. No empathy for the working class. You got that right. Let's go for an evening walk with Monica. It was early evening, still light out, with just a faint nip in the air. Oh, it's like Pearl Harbor. Frank was at a friend's and Deanna was at an art class. Monica and I decided to go for a walk before dinner. Our favourite place for a stroll was a nearby Capitol Park, the largest green space in all of Holsword. While the children were born, we'd spent many an evening engaged in deep conversation along the promenade. Another favoured path wound through the woods behind the presidential housing complex to a private pond where the children could swim in the summer. I was told that Sol himself had it built and the benefits of being president. Monica met me by the door and we put our coats and hat on. I was going to suggest we walk towards Sol Square, but the guards told me it has been closed for yet another protest. Heartless Haryan. I know. The thing is I'd be completely fine with more regulation in the workplace, but minimum wage, double overtime, limiting the hours? No, not having any of that. I wonder who they are protesting this time. What does it matter? The two sides of the same coin. Maybe it's the damn communists again. Well, the grudges die hard, I see. It's a different, nastier breed. In any case, where shall we go? I'm not sure the capital park is a wise idea in this climate either. You're right, it's not worth security risks. Let's stay inside the green perimeter. There's nothing to be afraid of, let's go. Alright, let's go then, before the children get home. I informed the guards about our route and we left the house. The guards followed us with Black Cadilla as we exited the gates. Walking briskly, we reached Capital Park in minutes. We entered the park and Monica broke the silence. How was your day? Paperwork, endless meetings, usual nightmare. Yeah. I don't know, I imagine some might find that stimulating. Well, I hope yours was better. Oh, it was fine. I caught up with some reading while the children were at school. As we reached the river, I saw Ionis Kroner, the former Minister of Justice, walking in the opposite direction. I remembered that Neomorga used to be his Vice Minister. He gave us a quick nod of acknowledgement. Ionis had once fought hard for strong against Sol's judiciary reforms, but after years the government blocking his every move, he gave up on his ideals and became part of the administration. What did our ideals really mean if they could be changed so easily? What about the people we idolise? Those are good questions. Evelyn also came round for tea. She said hi. She was feeling rather low, though. Apparently she and Peter had a bit of a disagreement. Was she nagging him about this time? Peter's in the doghouse again. How'd that happen? Apparently Peter had too much whiskey, as usual. He didn't behave when Evelyn's father was over for dinner yesterday. Oh, Peter, what do you think of this? Perpetually pickle, I'll have a talk with him. Rough patch, that'll be fine. I'll be honest, if I don't care, I'll talk with Peter. Good, Evelyn seemed close to tears. Aren't you glad you and I don't have these kind of quarrels? Being married to a shrew like her would make anyone turn to the bottle. Aren't you glad we don't fight? That is the worst thing to say to a woman, by the way. She didn't say anything and kept walking. See what I mean? But it was better than the other option. You know, Evelyn hasn't been the same since what happened at her wholesale post last year. You remember how she got fired for supporting Alfonso? Peter tried everything to get her job back, but it didn't work. A sad day for journalism and free speech in Solland. Oh, I completely agree. Sad day indeed. But enough about the Vectans. I spoke again to Janice on the phone. Oh, Janice, right. You remember my friend from university? We were in the Swordist Literature class together. A few years younger than me. Red hair, scar on her forehead. We had dinner with her and her husband once or twice. Neither the name nor description rang a bell. Yeah, right, that Janice. Anyway, she's been working as an executive assistant to the Violet Pictures film studio. She recently became pregnant and asked her boss for paid maternity. And guess what? She was fired for it. Can't her husband provide for both of them? From a cost standpoint, obviously I don't want to lose money. That is pretty terrible. Yeah, I agree. I am going to be a bit of a gimpy feminist, I'm afraid. That's what we're doing. I know, and I was beside myself when she told me. And that's not all. They immediately replaced her with a younger, less experienced man. Son of an executive, no less. That's ridiculous. She called the first nepotism. They must have wanted him in there all along. That doesn't justify what they did to her. I'm saying it's bad! Get a woman you can fight, very brilliant. Oh yeah, she's part of the stable, mate. As it happens, another friend works for a television station that's hiring secretaries, so I connected the two of them. That doesn't solve the deeper problem, though. Oh, you're finally starting to see things my way. Women in this country are still seen as wives and mothers first. Human beings second. They're harassed at work, underpaid, blocked from positions of power, and those are the lucky ones. The fact that there's still places in this country where little girls like Dina are denied their right to an education... yes, I'll do what I can to change that. I actually will, like, you know, I know everyone blames the modern world on women working more and more on the right, but I've come to the position of I just don't think it's the case. Women have jobs literally all the time. You know what I watched recently, actually? I watched Who Do You Think You Are with Jeremy Clarkson, and he's related to the Kilners, who were famous for a type of glass jar, well, a few types of glass jar. Literally every picture of their factories, literally like dozens of women working. So women have always worked. I don't get where this idea that they were always like kept in the kitchen comes from. That feels like a very like 1 decade of America, basically, maybe 2. But I don't really get where the stereotype comes from. But anyway, it just can't be you. These little girls and people like Janice need someone to speak on their behalf. A role model and successful woman. We were right in front of one of the park benches that lined the river. Monica gestured to it and we sat down. It brings me to my point. We know the mayor of Anrica, Curtin Lest, will be delivering a speech at the annual opening of the Benfey Festival. My wish is to take his place and deliver the speech instead. Lest was one of Sorland's more influential politicians, and he had started his career in Benfey before rising to power in Anrica. Benfey's current mayor had personally invited him to make the opening speech. Replacing him would likely anger him, but probably not enough to cause a huge incident, but enough that he might use his influence over the Conservatives to block me in the Assembly. I want to base the speech on women's rights in Swordland, on the oppression and discrimination we face every day on the basis of our sex alone. I want our voice heard, and this festival is the time to do it. I just need your blessing as husband and president. Monica's eyes were blazing with fire I hadn't seen since we were students. She wanted this badly. But I have to be careful with my promises. Seagrim, I'm not going to make this promise. Yeah, my full support. It's just a speech. What's the worst? Does it have to be at the festival, or can't it make the speech another time? I mean, yeah. Does it have to be the festival? Sorry, love, but does it have to be the festival? It has to be now. Thousands will go to the festival and millions will watch the speech at home. Sutherland's women can't wait any longer. I'm gonna have to disappoint my wife and get in a row. But I am more than happy to put, instead of the workers' rights bill, I'll put through the women's rights one. How about that? I can't do it. I don't understand. After all I've done to support you, can you not support me on this? Can't make him angry. It's not the right time. Sutherland is facing too much political strife. We'll deal with the women's rights later. Women belong at home. Like, sorry, it's a really difficult political situation. I think we need more discrimination. Cero, stop it. What little trouble this causes in the short term is nothing compared to the lasting positive change it will bring. Not just for women, but for all of Swordland. Let me make the point that I'm actually going to put through legislation that will help you. Let me make that point. Like, give me that option. Sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. Monica was silent. She finally spoke. There was a chill in her voice. If that's truly how you feel, so be it. We walked back home and neither of us looked at each other. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry. I'm in the doghouse. She's going to divorce you. Oh no. Royal Emerald Energy eyes gas on a strategic move. Is that Rizzia's? Lifeline for gas on. Money is meant to be spent. First rule of making money is to never hold on to it. If we want to get out of the recession, we need to spend the surplus on infrastructure. Listen, I didn't want to go into debt. The thing is, I go into -2 debt. The Economist complains. You can't win. Gold Condist violence in Swordland. Oh no. Explosion in Dyer. Oh. Bomb attack on a police station has killed 3 officers and injured 22 others. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack. The police said it was the Bloody Freedom Front. Yep, that flies. Right, geopolitics. Progress on Ayutthaya plan boosts Nibia and surrounding nations. Excuse me. Chancellor denounces Arcasian base on Ravos Islands. Oh. Smollett condemns on Casian soldier in the Lepsia. Grim, you're probably right about going into debt. Just saying. Nationwide peaceful protests. Well, that's not so bad. At least they're peaceful. Welcome to the news. Do you have any idea why Reform just stopped doing weekly press conferences? They probably don't have things to announce as much. Hello, Haryan. I hope this isn't too peculiar of a question, but I see your stuff on Twitter, and I don't know exactly what you think. So, what's your opinion on total remigration? It's stupid. It's just not even realistic. You will get so many people like fighting the entire idea of removing all minorities from the country. That alone makes it stupid. But beyond that, I know too many non-white people that are bigger patriots than a lot of white people I know. Great, like, if someone is not white and more of a patriot than Owen Jones, I don't see why they should be deported. It's absolutely crazy to me. But, that doesn't mean that millions don't need to go. But that's not total remigration, because there is no way Rupert Lowe would say millions must go if he's also saying, I love multiculturalism. I mean, I have videos called like How Not to Be a British Nationalist and all that goes through all this. There's one actually specifically on Steve Laws, where I critique his 7 steps, and some of it's reasonable, but to like give the game away at step 7 and say get rid of all browns and blacks, mental. So there you go. There isn't always stuff having a whole conference over, plus I imagine it's pretty expensive. Yeah, I mean they have to hire out the rooms and chairs and everything, so it is pretty expensive. So that's the other thing. I know, I'll give you a bit of advice, people. They're probably putting money towards a general election campaign. They're probably genuinely preparing for one. Just saying. Anyway. We'll do the budget allocation of law enforcement. I'm really sad that I annoyed my wife. I was in my office reading reports from the ministries about the current situation of protests. My next scheduled meeting was with Nia and Lilias. Oh my god. To discuss the law enforcement budget, and I heard some knocks on the door. Nia entered, took a seat at my front desk, and Lilias was absent. Good afternoon, Mr. President. I am glad you agree with me, because... I mean, to be honest with you, I'm quite surprised you've seen my Twitter and you're confused on that point. Gotta be honest with you, so I need to make it clearer then. But yeah, I am not a fan of the total remigrationists. Yeah, I'm with you, Cero. I'd deport there are millions that need to go. That is absolutely true. But not basing it on skin colour, it's mental. Anyway, good afternoon, Mr. President. Lilias will be late. Apparently there was an urgent matter at the Ministry in the interior she had to attend to. But it shouldn't take long. Well, what is the matter? She said something about supply distribution for police forces. Nothing major. I returned to my reports and Nia smothered back an errant strand of her hair. Smoothed back an errant strand. There was an awkward silence. While we wait, why don't we have a little chat? This might come off as a little strange, but I am proud of you. Despite everything, you're actually trying to reform the country. This just be the beginning. It's we, Nia, not me. I couldn't do any of this by myself. I'm proud of you too. Well, thank you. You certainly have a way with words, don't you? Words are just words, actions are what's important. And you seem to be doing well with both so far. Pros are cancelling out the cons for sure. She leaned forward. How are you really holding up, Anton? Being president, I mean. Feels like the whole weight of the country crushes down on me every day. It's the hardest thing I've done in my life, but also the best thing I've done. Yes. I can imagine. So much responsibility and so much power at the same time. I want to assist you in the country as best I can, but my hands are tied with the current budget allocation we have for the law enforcement. She barely finished the sentence before we heard a knock at the door and Nia almost jumped out of her chair. Lilias Graff entered the room. Mr. President? Mr. President? Nia? I hope I'm not interrupting your conversation. No, not at all. We were just discussing a few things. Nia smiled at Lilias. I'm sorry for being late. There was an important matter at the Ministry. Security forces of Bergia are arbitrarily not cooperating with my department and creating some minor annoyances. Unfortunately, due to limited authority in the special zone of Bergia, I can't control their operations. Luckily, they didn't completely botch the tasks and actually uncovered a large network of priests that were recruiting Bergians for the Bloodish Freedom Front. Religion. Get rid of religion apart from Christianity. Do your best to keep the miscommunication with the governor's forces to a minimum. We need to take the war on terror, against terror seriously. You were late, but now you are here. Let's begin. Sounds significant. Do you want to explain more? That does sound significant. The issue was a miscommunication about an ongoing investigation inside Bergia, but as I said, it does not affect the results in a negative way. The investigation, however, revealed some troubling facts. We suspect the existence of a massive network of BFF-aligned priests currently serving in Bergia. We've discovered that most of the existing Glockondists, sanctuaries and communities inside Bergia are indeed working directly for the BFF. Several reports also point to a possible infiltration of the Dasnurist and the Werkist communities by the Golkodist sects. Oh my god. May the Divine God forgive us if this is true. It's swearing news, keep following the lead, we can't let these sects divide society. Of course, Mr. President. Lilius took a seat next to Nia and she continued talking. Get rid of the special zone or at least limit it. That is my plan, Grim. I am very much on the side of no two-tier policing. Well then, let's go straight in. We will provide a brief update on the situation. Go ahead. Yeah? The Ministry of Justice and the Supreme Court is working in close collaboration with the Ministry of Interior to address the protests in the country. I must add that thanks to the hard work of our judiciary, the law enforcement forces assigned to my ministry are doing their jobs efficiently. I would call it a success of our forces on the ground, not due to the judicial branch of our government. Lilia shot near a brief, withering glance. Current budget is dampened hopes of more funding in the force, yet here we are with mass protests happening in the country and we are standing exactly where we were before. There is still a lot to see foreign national and don't see the difference between Ukrainian and a Somali. There are some pan-Europeanists, to be fair, on that point, but yeah, they don't see the difference between, say, a Somali and a Botswanan, say, or you know, a Japanese and a, I don't know, Vietnamese. Agreed. Many in the Ministry of Justice hoped for an increase and were not satisfied with the decision. But regardless, this means we will have to deal with the growing court backlog. It's manageable, but it will be a challenge. Had to make sacrifices for the good of Swordland. Sacrifices might well very damage the structural integrity of Swordland. It remains to be seen, but the ripples are already being felt across the country. I hope the decision is not the beginning of something bad. A brief moment of deliberation passed. Lilias and Nia got up from their seats. Well, I must return now to the ministry. Me too. They left the room. As soon as the door closed, I could hear their muffled voices as they argued. What was the point in that meeting? That could have just been an email. The hell? Regional investment decision. Gus Manga and Summon Holler prepared an extensive regional investment package to revitalise one of the top 3 economically fragile regions by boosting the municipality budgets, adding long sums of business grants, giving cheap loans to the companies with liquidity problems. The proposal can be implemented in one of the following regions. Nope. Recession is growing faster. Seriously, where do I was it on the regional map? How is the recession get? Oh, there it is. Oh. Fellas, it's okay. We're going to get out of this. I love how like last 5 changes. Wow. That's not good. Protest target sacred symbols. That's probably the young Sords going after the BFF. Rick calls president to action. Okay. Rain denied the workers their rights. Whatever, say what you want. Smollett condemns Arcasian soldiers and Lesbia. Alright then. It's a fun slide. It's such a mystery why the economy is bad. Dude, like, we've got to go through the bust cycle to get to the boom cycle, alright? Trust me. By the end of this game, you know, we'll have that, and then boom, we'll be like up here in Markia. Is that how you say that whole word? Markian Sea, whatever. Just got to be patient, alright? Some of the working class may die, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Sure. Listen. The problem we had after the 2008 budget is that we bailed out all the failing businesses. That was the problem. And we've literally never recovered. So yeah, stick that in your pipe and smoke it. I didn't even read what this was, by the way. At the top floor of the Business Council building, which had a great view of the beautiful Lochhaven, I looked outside from the tall windows. The Marquian Sea stretched as far as the eye could see and was dotted with many ships toward the horizon, which were mostly cargo carrying precious goods in and out of Sords. See, we've got international trade. Tracing back the path of the ship, I looked at the harbour. Lochhaven was home to one of the largest harbours in the entire continent. Many dockyard workers were loading or unloading containers, and work never stopped. The door opened, and Simon, Michael, and Edith entered the meeting room. Mr. President. I sort of did rush up here, didn't I? Mr. President, nice to see you again. Good afternoon, Mr. President. It's great to see you all again. Good afternoon. Simon put down a bag on the table and started collecting his documents while others slowly took their seats. Mr. President, before we start, I would like to mention some rumours I heard. Vetoing the recent Workers' Rights Act was welcomed by a lot of local business owners. The first section about the minimum wages would have been very damaging to many corporations. See, I'm helping the recession. By not making it worse. I heard the same. A good decision, I'd say, especially during a recession. I wanted to decide about how to make the right call. I didn't want to hamper our businesses. You are in no position to evaluate. I don't care about the rumours. If someone wants to say something, they can say it to me. I didn't want to hamper business. You have done the right thing. Simon waited patiently, and once everyone was ready, he adjusted his glasses. Who is Simon Hall, by the way? Right, Minister of the Economy, that makes sense. First of all, I would like to thank everyone here for their work on our tax system reform. We all know how complicated our current system is, and the work wouldn't be possible without you. You turn to me. The ultimate goal here is to end the recession. But we move ahead and start formulating a plan. We need to determine our direction. We have a few possibilities as a result of work that we have done so far. Increase, maintain, or decrease the taxes for large corporations. I believe some of us in the room have a few strong opinions about this. In parallel, we can increase, maintain, or decrease taxes for small and medium. Let's start with the large corporations and we'll move to small. I'm not being funny. Budget surplus. Probably okay to lower taxes. What if we increase the taxes? It's not an option at this point. Our economy is in shambles. Taking what remains of the businesses will destroy the economy. We could balance it by decreasing taxes for smaller businesses. You see, not sure if that's a good idea with the current state of the economy. I do believe there was one way to get out of the recession. It is to trade and the economic contribution of large corporations and increases their tax will return them to you. I will go a step further. Increasing their taxes will have disastrous results and will make you an enemy of them. Trust me, Mr. President, no one wants an enemy of them. Maybe you're right. What if we decrease the taxes? Our government budget will be hit, but in return, due to the sheer size of the economic contribution coming from these companies, it should be helpful in curbing the recession. Which is my plan, Grim. We'll be fine. I do think this is a good option if we want to end the recession, especially with the current state of the budget. I think this is a viable idea. Setting the existing balance might be less than ideal. Me too. You would have the group on your good side, on the top solving the recession crisis. I have to agree, being our ally would come in handy. Is there any downside to keeping things as they are? I'm of the opinion that if we don't make any changes, nothing changes. To stop the recession, we need to do something. I think so too. Agreed. So what should we do? My personal opinion is that we should decrease taxes for large corporations, although in the short term it would cost us, in the long run it would be helpful to ending the recession. Our international trade is driven mostly by products of these corporations, and they are the backbone of the economy. Exactly. If we let them perform better by decreasing their taxes, they should in turn lead to Sutherland receiving more investment, which means more capital, which means we are quicker out of the recession. I need a McCarthy DLC for this game. Given they're existing communists, I think this is a McCarthy simulator. I'm ready. Very well, Mr. President, we will ensure the economy is on a balanced track, as further destabilization might have dramatic consequences. Holy. Decrease taxes for large corporations. That is hitting me harder than I thought it would. And I don't really want to hit small and medium businesses, so Grim, you said it was okay before. I'm going to make the justification that I stayed in the surplus, so that I could go into a bit of debt to stimulate the economy by lowering taxes. Screw it, boys, we ball. This game seems interesting. I'm really enjoying it and would highly recommend it. Go to loaded.com. I got this game for £4. There you go. As a personal story, I know Reform in Durham has a lot of support among Ukrainian refugees, so they help them find employment and training programs. Restore doxed Reform counsellors for this. Idiots. Amazing. Amazing, I didn't know that. Grim, stop saying sure, right? You are a social democrat. I am an ANCAP. I actually know, I'm actually in contact with a counsellor from Durham, so there you go. I am in DMs with him. Wow, I am getting a lot of likes for my bangers today. That's nice. Right. An excellent decision. I agree. Thanks to this, the recession will be solved in no time. I also think this was a good choice. Well then, I've taken note of your action and I will put implementation as soon as possible. Simon opened his briefcase, swap out the stacks of paper that he had in front with another stack. Let's move on to small and medium businesses. What if we increase taxes? They are the backbone of our economy and they are compromised and mostly regular people. If we start demanding more money from their taxes, it might cause the public to harbour ill will toward the government. Our budget's in good shape, I don't see a need to increase taxes. I think increasing taxes for smaller corporations is a good way to earn some extra capital so the government can give back it to people in due time. In the long run, increasing the taxes for small and medium businesses would make people happier with services that the government provides. People need their hard-earned money. What if we decrease the taxes? It should be helpful in curbing the recession for sure. Of course, it will come with the cost of losing some of our government budget. There are downsides to keeping things the way they are. Scotland needs change to get out of recession, but the current state of the economy is in shambles. There is not much change we can do, about taxes. Ready to make a decision. Very well. I think we'll maintain it for. In an ideal world, I drop them for both. Oh, see, I'm going proper Rishi Sunak here, because now I'm thinking, decreasing it for large businesses, that's going to make me look like a, pig with his snout in the trough, a fat cat. If I keep it for small and medium businesses, not great. Plus it's I think we take a heavy hit on the budget now and pray that Ancapistan makes just a great stimulating process for business in the damn area, because then people are less reliant on the government as well. Grim, you may call me a complete moron if this goes wrong. Very well, I've taken another note. I will look into how to get on to implementing these changes. Thank you everyone, that will be all. Enjoy Lockhaven. They left the meeting room and decided to stay a bit longer. I went to the windows again and kept watching the scene in silence for some more time. That is horrible. Right, let's have a look at the overview. Tax break for small and medium, tax break for corporations. Look at that. Creating jobs, small businesses growing. Look at that. Look at that. I'm a mad lad. Ancapistan is helping everyone who is in need. And I'm absolutely boiling my my chesticles off. So give me a moment. You may look at my absolutely atrocious time with the economy while I quickly get another drink. Oh, I'm so hot, I might need to open a window. The problem is, if I open the window, like, this window's at the front of the house, so my neighbours are almost certainly going to hear me doing outrageous accents, and I don't really want them to know I'm a mega nerd, so we're not doing that. Anyway, let's see what the news says. Tax cuts for large corporations on its way. We decreased it by 10%. I didn't realise it'd be that much. A total of 25%. Oh, that's yeah. Okay, that's ideal. That's fine. And that's also and it's equalised for small and medium. That's good. That's good. Holstron advocates for tighter immigration. We will absolutely do that. Young Swords deny allegations. I assume it's the attack. Denying having ties to terror attack. There you go. The Torrent Hill School wins award. Yay. It's my only joy in life. Durham became a laboratory for reform in power. They've got a HMO Section 4 coming in August, basically stonewalling illegals being sent till 29. Yeah, I know, I think West Northamptonshire is... I was in conversation with some of their councillors at some point, and I think they basically found out that the way councils used to deal with like barristers and things like that is they basically hire different ones for completely different things. So they'd all be charged separately for going through completely different areas of law for the council. And so Reform actually equalised that and hire one team of them to charge them for like one meeting to go over like several different points of order or whatever. So that's how they're saving a bit of money. Red Youth call for peace, of course they do. Smolak threatens new military incursions targeting BFF. Alfonso Foundation asks for donations. Yeah, go on. Donate. No, I'm not going to donate. I want my personal wealth. I need some savings. There a continue button. Where's the... No, there's the exclamation mark. We're going to Lyren. Not heard of Buggy since I was 11. Oh, Lord Tommy. Just look for the... You need to watch the EFAP episodes about Buggy. I started watching a couple of them again yesterday, and they are possibly the funniest things I've seen in my life. Visit and inspection of schools in Lyren. Oh, alright then. Part of the planned programme, we arrived in Lyren to visit a middle school. The prestigious Torrent Hill School was situated close to the suburbs just outside the city centre. The building was flanked by two hills, each beautifully dotted with shrubs and flowers. I see Jeg's got the exact same mind as me. Excellent. Lucian and Chiara and I got out of the car and met at the entrance. Our presence are not going to notice apart from our guards. There are at least 10 reporters following us around. Oh, why are we... Oh, we're with Chiara because she's the friggin' education minister. That must be the principal. Right this way, sir. The principal was a man of short stature with a bushy moustache and a pair of glasses. He approached us quickly, but was stopped by the security guards and they started patting him down and searched him. Yeah, we'll wait for them. Mr. President, it's such an honour to meet you. Shake his hand and smile for the camera. Welcome to a humble school. Sorry about the security, it's a necessity standard practice. Excellent, you must be Mr. Gláeddyv. It's a pleasure to meet you. And Miss Wilder, so good of you to come all the way out here. Well, thank you. I used to really like him, I don't want to ruin my childhood. Dude, just watch it. It will ruin your childhood, but he is a colossal prick. So now my internet is back, I've been able to fully catch up on it. Oh, excellent. Oh, Jeg, when can you come on Guardian then? Well, I need to wait actually for... well, I need to hear back from some guests. At the entrance, the school motto was inscribed on wall with giant letters. Instreten sis... oh god, I can't read that. Education is the premise of progress in all societies in all fairness. We walked through the gates. There were many students lined up in front of the stairs in the main building. As we entered, the students started singing the national anthem. God save our gracious Queen. No, King! Oh, she died. Word of a Suffolk by-election in a few months, considering how right-wing that place is, has always been a must-win for reform. Well, it's allegedly going to be Dr. David Bull standing there, so hopefully he does well. The principal proudly looked at them. Marvellous, my dear students. After the anthem finished, all the students immediately snapped to attention and turned to me. Looks more like a military institution than a school. Exactly. That's what we pride ourselves on. Discipline has the utmost importance in school. Very good. I agree. Chiara frowned and shook her head. Oh, she wants a holistic upbringing. Glad you like it, Mr. President. Now, we will watch the students take their daily student oath. Boys and girls went up to the stage and grabbed their microphones. The students turned to them. I am a sword. My strength lies in my blood. I will respect our honourable elders. I will protect the young. My life belongs to Swordland now.
and it will belong to it forever. I will always follow the guiding light of Colonel Sol and the great Sords, and Magna Wescor, Victor's sister.
Clap loudly. Do you like Dr. Paul? I know some people find him a bit much on the left. Yeah, I like Dr. David Bull, yeah. Words to remember. What? No one even remembers it after they graduate.
If you wish to follow me, we will take one look at one of our classrooms.
Through the hallways we made our way to classroom 7A. As soon as I entered, the whole classroom rose up and snapped to attention. Sit down, please. The students sat down, the same boy and girl walked up to us.
These are our top students and our top class. This here is my son.
The boy came before me and saluted like a military officer.
Tell me, Mr. President, what you want to be. Mr. President, I want to be a general, sir. I am ready to sacrifice myself for my country and you, sir.
Oh my god, based. You'll make a fine soldier in the future at ease. Yeah, fine.
Thank you, sir.
The principal squeezed his son's shoulder and the boy looked up and he smiled to my father. I patted him on the back and sent him to his seat. The cameras flashed.
This is simply ridiculous. You are not raising soldiers here. You are raising soldiers here, not students. I am sorry, I will immediately perform disciplinary actions. How about you, young lady? What do you think about this? She is our top student at this school. Her excellent grades are to... I didn't ask you.
She bent down and gently addressed the young student.
What do you think about your school? Just between us girls. I'm sick of having to knit and sew while the boys learn science and chemistry. I am smarter than all of them. Why do I have to take these stupid handcraft classes? Shh! Do you know who you are talking? Shut up and let us speak.
Kiara's presence had emboldened the girl, and she went on. Right. Started to kind of understand some of the reforms, but I don't... The thing is, I'm not having this... Yeah, obviously girls can be in the science classroom with boys, if it also comes along with hate Swordland, you know? My instinct is to troll the shrew, I know.
My math and reading scores are the best in the school, but they won't let me take classes I want just because I'm a girl. I want to be a scientist, not some soldier's wife.
You heard it, Mr. Principal. You will make the necessary changes at once. Yeah, we need more people like you in this country. I applaud your determination.
We need more than words. We need action. Concrete action.
We need to protect girls like this. The cameras flashed once again. I looked around the classroom and saw a large portrait of Colonel Sol. An excellent portrait of Colonel Sol.
Thank you.
Well then, unfortunately we are almost out of time. We need to have another meeting to attend to today, and thank you for the warm welcome.
Mr. President, Lucian, please go ahead. I would like to speak with this girl alone.
Well, for the tour.
Thank you for visiting our school, sir.
This game's woke. Don't. No, it's not. I don't know what you're referring to there, Grim. I went through quite a lot there. Come on, class 1, 2. All the students in the classroom yelled, but the boy who I met was the loudest.
I'm Magna Wescor.
Victor and sister. Or Victor and sister, it's my voice. After another round of photos, we departed. Cool. Oh, come on, man. Balanced energy prices. Cool. Energy prices in Sword have remained remarkably stable over the last quarter, a positive sign for the economy. A marginal increase of 0.8%. The stability in energy prices demonstrates the resilience of our domestic energy sector. Grand. I'd be more interested in the Somerset candidates. Could go with Zia, totally winnable. Probably. I don't know Somerset well enough, really. I have no idea where they're going to stand Zia. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they put him somewhere in Essex. Maybe Aaron Banks. Aaron Banks would be a shout, yeah. President visits school. Nice. Assembly talks about prayer language. Leader of the National Front has proposed the Swordish Prayer Language Act to the Assembly. The proposed bill aims to standardise the language of prayer in the Swordish in the entire Swordland. Prayer language has always been controversial, as most of the religious ceremonies in Bergia region, where most of the Bloodish population resides, conduct their prayers in Bloodish. Gonna be a bit uncap on that one, gotta be honest, don't see the point. New star in Geralt's Wine Sky. Okay. Ocasian PMC is accused of sowing discord in Eastern Xena. Cool.
Briefing the proposal of education reform. Yeah, we can do this one. We've got 5 minutes. We're still in Lyran, staying at the modest guest house for state employees. Kiara set up a meeting with me and Lucian to go over our plans for education reform after our school visit. Lucian was seated across from me at the table going through documents, and Kiara entered the room. Essex is Reform's best area besides Durham. If he gets a seat there, he's not losing it. You'd hope so. After our visit yesterday, I couldn't even sleep thinking about that little boy and girl. I've never been more sure of my intentions to reform the education system. Listen, I agree. Let the girls be colonels. Lucian took off his reading glasses and put it on the table. I agree education reform is necessary. I sort of half agree. Zia will be too important to risk. I'm sure they'd give him the safest seat. Yeah, I think so, Lord Tommy, but the problem is, what is a safe seat? Where is it? Exactly. The students have to repeat the same soulless propaganda every single day. Listen, the soulless propaganda's fine. They're being brainwashed at an age where their minds need to be free. On top of that, young girls are denied the same opportunity as boys. They're forced into the role of the housewife before they even reach puberty. Nothing has changed since I went to school. Women like me, Lilias, Nia, and even your wife, we have to study twice as hard to receive the same university education that you and Lucian took for granted. Is this kind of country you want your daughter to grow up in? Mr. President, we need to bring change. We need to free the minds of the young people. They are our future. Go on then, what reform do you want? We need to keep politics out of the curriculum. Sol should only be viewed as a historical figure. Children shouldn't have to repeat his name every day. It's actively poisoning young bright minds. Instead of thinking for themselves, they're learning things and taking it at face value. We also need to ensure boys and girls receive the same instruction. Handcrafts like knitting and sewing should be taught to both sexes or not at all. I agree with that one. Solon's youth must be technically skilled and capable for the next decade. It will be possible with the amounts of the nationalistic indoctrination and narrow-minded thinking found in the school today. We raise a generation ready for the challenges of the future or not. So what will it be? What do you think, Lucian? As much as I respect Colonel Sol, the time has passed. Now it is our time. I do think it might be the first step of a larger plan. We'll reform it. You will not regret it. I will get to work immediately. Now that the decision was made, let's move on. Very well. Yara skimmed over the documents. With no change in budget, the Ministry was left to its own devices. We made tough choices, but still lack additional funds. Therefore, we are investigating if privatising education would draw enough funds to conduct investment. What are the advantages? There aren't many, but it would give us sorely needed funds and increase competition amongst schools. It would support our overall economic strategy of promoting a free market. A few minutes deliberation passed. We can manage without additional funds. The only reason I wanted to consider it is to have more money to improve education. So what's your decision? Initiate privatisation, sure, more funds. This should allow more competition and quality. Absolutely. Will do. That should be it for now. I will get to work and report back later. This has been a very productive day. I will return to Holswood. Have a good day. We dispersed after spending nearly the entire day together. Took a moment simply to breathe in the fresh evening air of Lyran. I felt calmer somehow, but would have returned to the castle of Holswood soon enough. Me and Sol got on when I was a dictator grim. Damn. Right. God damn it, let me see the changes. Go on. Demonstrators arrested. Based. Tens of thousands of demonstrators were driven out of city centres by riot police this week, according to ground sources. Good work. Rain is making a mistake. The head of Solo's second opposition party, the National Front, has said he will not be able to keep ruling the country without addressing policies that have negatively affected our security culture and economy. He blamed President Rain for not being open to any discussion about proper reform. What do you mean? He also criticised the progressives. Okay. Rain is making a mistake by working together with Richter. He's the second biggest party. What do you expect? What? Administration amounts his education privatisation. Damn right. Greater Whole Sword, freer protests. Oh, sick. Education gap. Shift towards privatised education has raised concerns regarding its impact on the social well-being because there's going to be inequality. Don't care. Modernised education techniques. Cool. That's good. So that's fine. I understand it won't be very popular with some of you, but there we are. Goodness me.
Constitute. Oh, right, yeah, the proposals. Right, well, my voice is absolute. It's actually not as bad as it usually is, to be fair. Could probably justify another half hour, to be honest. Depends what rural development investment. Tell you what, I am actually interested in that. Not that interested, but I will carry on for another half hour. You boys just need to give me about 2 minutes once again to be AFK, so... in the meantime, you can enjoy reading about how large corporations actually do end up helping the economy. I'm back, baby. Ugh. Somerset will be very hard for reform to win. I thought it would be. The coat, listen, alright? Education needs reform, both in here and Swordland, right? Oh, goodness me. The growing rural development investment is proposed by a rural development minister to bolster Swordland's rural economies and secure the nation's food sustainability. The plan envisages a judicious allocation of resources to vitalise agricultural communities. New crop research, mechanise. So I think mechanising the farms will do. It's only one to the budget, shouldn't be too bad. Honestly, subsidise the farmers. Somerset's just a politically strange place. It's Thatcherite probably thinks reform is too right-wing, the irony. Who knows, man. Anyway, let's go. Meeting with Gloria Tory on planned reforms. Yes. I arrived at the Grand National Assembly with only 5 minutes drive away from the Paris. There I had a private meeting with Gloria Tory. The hell's that? One of the leading figures of the USP, to get her approval for a proposal. She also keen reaching 150 signatures to propose the new constitution, as she had excessive control over our party's conservative and moderate wings. As I walked through corridors of the Grand National Assembly, I was confronted by my memories of the historic building. Despite being a member of the Assembly not long ago, it now felt like the distant past. What have I missed there? Oh, compulsory middle. Oh god. Investment in Grooney, that's what I did. Cool. Take the news is happy about that. Hey, they are. I walked into the left wing of the Assembly, which currently acted as the quarter of the USP. Gloria's office was the first one. I knocked on the door. Good morning, Mrs. Tory. Good to see you here, Mr. Wren. It was a small, neatly organised office. There were small figurines, photos and plants around the place. It had a homely feel, unlike my own Assembly office as I had worked there. She kind of looks like Mrs. Thatcher, with darker hair. I might try and put on a Thatcher accent. On her gesture, I took a seat. The chair was very uncomfortable. How are you doing, Mrs. Tory? She's literally called Mrs. Tory. Oh no, why did I do a Somerset accent? I'm fine, Mr. Rain. How are you? I'm very happy to see you, Miss Tory. It's been a while. Indeed, Mr. President. She smiled. So how does the presidential chair compare to the one in the Assembly? It's better, what can I say? I'm sure it doesn't give you back pains the way ours do. Anyway, let's keep this simple, Mr. Rain. We both know why you're here. You want me to give you my support. I don't see why the backbone of the USP would support your rushed reforms. Don't you realise they go directly against the wishes of the founder of this party and this state? The reforms are not against anyone, it's all in the name of democracy.
I need your help here. My reforms are very critical for the future of Swordsland, Mrs. Tory. They are certainly critical for destroying what our party was worked so hard to build. Even though you owe everything to Colonel Sol, I think you never liked him, nor the party he built. This is nothing personal about this. Whatever you intend to do, you will be faced with quite the opposition. That is all I can say. I'm sure we can make a deal. Perhaps I could change your thoughts on the matter with some well-placed investments. You must understand these reforms are a necessity. Let me explain. How? We need the reforms to fix our problems with the unrestricted power of the Supreme Court. The people of Swordsland demand change. The USP might give them what they want. We need people's support. The USP is a party that knows how to react in changing times. We must lead the nation into the future. That's not Thatcher. I never said it would be good. That is for our party to decide, not you. I seriously do not know if the Conservatives would be willing to support you at all, especially considering the fact that you're trying to change the Member of Honour laws. This is clearly a move against President Sol. You want to punish him for the aggressive policies he pursued in the past? Is it the intention here? You can't win this fight, Mr. President. Sol built this republic in the midst of blood and chaos. He demands respect. It's not about Sol, it's a shame us hoping we could work together. I have no intention of putting Colonel Sol on trial. What makes you think I don't respect him? I'm not putting on trial here. Then why are you taking away his title? Why strike against the old man who has fought all his life for our country? The Member of Honour law are unnecessary and undemocratic. It's not about Sol. How about you answer me this? Why did Sol grant himself absolute immunity and protection? What's he scared of? Let's calm down. I'm here to listen to your concerns. I've already stated my concerns, Mr. President. Let's listen to you. I promise we won't touch him, but the ancient law should be removed. Fine. Let's talk about your other points. I must say I expected some sort of a reform regarding the appointment of ministers. I'm surprised that you're ignoring the large support behind that. But moving on, she took a look at the proposal. You know what? I believe I can give you the help you require. She repositioned herself in the chair. Just don't forget, Mr. President, the Conservatives will be expecting a lot from you. Scotland losing already. Who are they playing? Are they playing Croatia? That makes sense. I'll be expecting a lot from Conservatives as well, of course. I'll be expecting a lot from you as well. I can get you the signatures you need for the proposal. I talked to other Conservatives. I hope there won't be any surprises, though, Mr. President. Glad to hear that, Mrs. Tory. Just hope you won't continue Alfonso's destruction of the country with your economic policies. Of course, I can't guarantee that all the Conservatives of the party will vote for your constitutional changes. I have serious reservations about privatising healthcare. No, you don't, you're a Tory. Or the Swordish State Corporation. Support of my faction can change. That will depend to some extent on your policies, but the signatures at least are as good as gathered. What policies make you concerned? Completely against your efforts to privatise our education institutions. The state must be responsible for education of its citizens. Your reform will corrupt our education system and bring foreign influence. But we'll discuss that later. What you expect from you is not to pursue a further privatisation. If you start privatising healthcare or state-owned corporations, I doubt I can help you. Oh yeah, they're not in the same group as us, are they? Yeah, Brazil. Right, got you. Don't worry, it won't happen. I can't promise anything. These decisions depend on circumstances. I'm not Alfonso. Yes. Different names, I guess. She stood up. I believe I've made myself clear. Thank you for stopping by, Mr. President. I hope you'll hold your promises. She extended her hand for a handshake. I shook her hand and immediately sat back. But now I must get back to my duties. If you excuse me, Mr. President. Goodbye, Mrs. Tory, and thank you. She only responded with a nod as she left. The Conservative side was handled, but to get the 150 signatures, I would still have to deal with Albin Calvin, the reformist wing. I went outside, Serge drove me back to the palace where I met Lucian and told him the progress I made with Gloria. So she wasn't too annoyed about that. BFF warns Welland, Sorland and Lesbia. Cool.
Release a statement condemning the governments of Swordland, Lesbia and Welland for their mistreatment of Bloodish citizens. Oh, whinge, whinge, whinge. Oh, let's play chess. Go on then. I can play a game of chess and then play with my family. What are you on about? Oh, they're not going to be happy with that. Evening descended on the capital as Lucian and I found ourselves alone in my office. I followed my chief strategist, eyes towards the chessboard at the coffee table. The sight of it reminded me of a simpler time, of late-night strategy sessions turning into chess matches. We used to escape the political chaos into a world of rooks and bishops. Our battle were both tense and friendly, a reflection of our long history together. Lucian had always been a challenging opponent. His strategies, both on the chessboard and politics, had the same unpredictable edge. A soft knock interrupted reminiscing. Livia came in with our usual coffee and she noticed the chessboard. Long nights of strategy planning and now a game of chess? You two never stop thinking, do you? We might have to order dinner if this game takes as long as the ones we used to play. Keep the Maroon Planet chef on speed dial then. Have a good game, gentlemen. She turned and left the room. Lucian acknowledged her exit with a slight nod and his eyes still fixed on the board. I hope you'll remember that it's not always the king who holds the power. Sometimes a well-placed pawn can change the game. Isn't that the truth? I use pawns for some of my best plays. Neither of them hold any real power, Lucian. It's the player that controls them. Of course, sir. Wise players recognise the value of each piece on the board. As Lucian positioned the piece on the chessboard, it stirred memories of our early days in the United Swordland Party. His dexterous manoeuvring reflected the unseen orchestration that helped Peter and me ascend through the ranks. As the final piece was set into position, the board transformed into a silent battlefield. Enough reminiscing, let's go. Ah, the impatience of a president. Very well, let's begin. Which colour do you prefer? Black as usual or white this time? I'll play either side. Doesn't matter, allow me the honour of first move. I'll take white. With the sides chosen, Lucian sat back, his fingers laced together in contemplation, and thus the game began. Lucian moved his knight from G1 to F3, aiming for Reti opening. I hate it when they used friggin' knights first. It's not always about the centre, is it? Control the centre. In response to Lucian's attempt at the Reti, I advanced my pawn from D7 to D5, aiming to strengthen my grip in the centre. Solid move, Mr. Rain. Maintaining control of the centre is often key. A few minutes passed and a few more actions were made on the board. Lucian's next move was calculated and swift. The bishop glided from F1 to G2. Glided? That's right next to it. Preparing for a potential kingside castle and fortifying the pawn structure. Opting for a solid defence. Every castle needs its walls. I guess we'll castle. I decided to mirror, moving my king to safety. I moved my king 2 squares toward the rook and switched the rook on the other side, completing a kingside castle. With this, the stage was set. The opening manoeuvres had transformed into a mid-game battle of wit. I remember when I was writing a book, guys. I still need to do that, but I basically on my first draft put way too much chess autism in it because I loved chess at the time. I don't play it as much now, and I took a whole section out because I'm like, you don't need this, and this is what they've put here. But it was my own choice. Each pawn push, every subtle repositioning had been shown to Lucian's strategic prowess and my resilience. Next move will prove crucial. Lucian's queen cut a path through the heart of the board, menacing my vulnerable knights. Stakes were sky high. A bold pawn advance could release my rook's potential and threaten Lucian's knight. On the other hand, I could gamble with a rummish gambit, a risky play that could wrestle control of the centre away from him. Release the Kraken! I advanced my pawn and ripping open the F-file, the next move took a knight from Lucian. I'll keep playing and not comment this time. What's my chess rating? 1,500, I think. Was it 1,300? Can't remember. I was in the thousands. Lucian moved his rook from this corner, adding pressure on my exposed bishop. Lucian had made a bold move, pushing his pawn forward and forcing my bishop into a vulnerable position. While the urge to secure my threatening bishop was strong, an enticing opportunity lay before me. Potential double attack on Lucian's king and rook. We'll do the Rizian fork. I manoeuvred my knight expertly, landing on a square that posed a double threat to the king and rook. Daring manoeuvre under fiery pressure.
I'm an adept tactician, but this is far from over. In response to my knight's threat, Lucian moved out of the threat, creating a barrier between my knight and his king. How'd you create what? How'd you create a barrier between a knight and a king? Fire is the test of gold, Lucian. Yeah, we'll annoy his back rank. I moved my rook to the last rank, threatening Lucian's king with a potential back rank mate. That is a back rank mate. Clever, President Rain, but did you consider the consequences? The centre was congested, slow, showed Lucian's unyielding style. His formation was formidable, his pieces interlocked in a matrix of support, each protecting the other while simultaneously projecting a threat across the board. It was my move, and the game had entered its final stage. Lucian's queen was uncomfortably close, radiating danger. I had only a few paths before me. The king stood vulnerable, but a risky move could leave my own king exposed. However, seizing the opportunity seemed worth the risk. Decoy the queen. Boldly moved my queen, placing it in a position that exposed Lucian's king to a potential checkmate. A daring choice, President. It seems that end is near. Lucian overlooked the threat I posed. Victory would be mine. If he identified the trap, the game could stretch on, but the advantage would be mine. Well played, but it's not over yet. He caught my trap and navigated his king out of the danger zone. Despite Lucian's attempt to wriggle out, his king was trapped. My queen delivered the final blow, spelling a checkmate. The game was over and I'd won. Seems the king has cornered Lucian. GG. Indeed, Mr. Rain. Played well. Congratulations. We'll learn more from our mistakes. Lucian and I slowly began to dismantle the chessboard, and each piece carefully placed back in the protected case. Lucian's eyes bore a far-off look. Perhaps he was replaying the match within his mind. He picked up a knight and turned it over in his hand thoughtfully. A difficult game, chess. The constant threats and counter-threats take me back to more similarly challenging times. Sounds like you had a complex cast. We all have our past, Mr. President. Mine happened to involve many moves and counter-moves, each with its own consequences. Moves and counter-moves, so you've seen your share of conflict. Yes, Mr. President, we were trying times for Swordland. Many others. He was caught in the crossfire of those tumultuous years. Shadow seemed to pass over his eyes. A hint of turmoil still lingered in his memory. Certainly don't wish to delve into matters that will unsettle you. I have reconciled with my past and set it aside. It's not my intent to withhold information from you, but I believe we should focus on the future of Swordland and leave its history where it belongs. On that note, it's time for me to depart. I thoroughly enjoyed our match tonight, Mr. President. Indeed, the game was great pleasure, as did I. The game was enlightening as it was entertaining. Win or lose, there's always something to be learned from a round of chess. Good night, Mr. President. Lucian exited the room. Our memories of the game lingered, as did the enigmatic aura of the man himself. And my wife's gonna be mad at me. Oh, maybe not. Time we up. I suppose we'll do one more on the reforms. Has economic stability increased yet? God damn it. Go on then. After our meeting with Gloria Tory and further discussions at the party in my cabinet, it was time for Albin Calvin to get the reformist wing. I also planned to finally present a more fleshed out proposal and declare our agenda to the party of our meeting. I walked to the left wing up the assembly and entered the quarter of the USP. When I reached the meeting hall, I saw many of our members conversing. After taking a glimpse inside, I went back to the corridor, back to look at my office for Albin Calvin, which was around the back of the palace. When I reached the room, I knocked on the door and entered. God, he does look like me. Mr. President, suitably, Mr. President, welcome. The whole room was surrounded by bookshelves packed with files and papers. It was a small office with books and dossiers lying in every corner, and it felt claustrophobic. On his gesture, I took a seat. How's everything going, Mr. Calvin? It's been busy. The party has been working very hard, Mr. President. Thank you for asking. How's it going for you in the palace? Feeling pretty good. That's great to hear. Our team was disappointed by the veto of the Workers' Rights Act. We worked day and night for weeks. It would have boosted your public opinion too, Mr. President. It wasn't a good time. The businesses will be burned even further, and this climate would damage the economy. I understand your perspective, but haven't the companies benefited from the situation and made profit for a long time? It's just that we thought the palace wouldn't let us down. Albin sighed. Anyway, sir, let's talk about the proposals. Thank you for coming here for my input, because there are some subjects where Gloria and I don't see eye to eye. I used to say some of the most progressives were already starting to warm up to you. Your attempt at changing the constitution created quite a bit of excitement. One could dare to say the excitement we haven't felt since the 30s. Yet there are some issues with the current status of the proposal. We may need to contain our excitement a little longer. I suspect Mrs. Story had a lot of influence on the proposal, but I cannot support this if it's in its current state. What the hell's the problem? Where do I even begin? We have specifically asked for a change in appointment of ministers, and that's what the party was expecting. But I see our suggestions were ignored. Well, they weren't ignored. Excuse me, Mr. President, how are they not ignored? I don't know what I can do for you even if I gave you my support. The party would not like this. Leave the rest of the party to me, I'm not asking for your support. Your proposal will be crushed like this anyway. I'd rather have something tangible to support. I think you're pushing your luck too much, Mr. President. You know this isn't the only issue. There is another one. Reformists were expecting a reform about the term limits. Why was that not included in the proposal? I can't bring in term limits in my first term. So you also want to use the flaws of the system for your own benefit. Would you tell me what's priority with this proposal? Limiting the legislative power of the Supreme Court. Fair enough. He looked down at the proposal. There might still be a way to get behind this. This is not enough, Mr. President. We can take another look over the draft, or perhaps there's something else you could offer me. Fine, let's look at the draft again. You already know our concerns. We both buried our head in the proposal. If I have to concede something, I think I'd rather have the Assembly nominate ministers. I think that's really stupid, but that's better than a term limit, I'd argue. But then when it's changed, it's hard to change back. But I did also annoy them with the workers' rights one, so I think to keep them sweet, I'll do the Assembly nominating ministers. That wasn't so hard, was it? Let's move on. Unfortunately, Mr. President, this is not enough. Either we change more, or perhaps there's something else. Well, what's the something else? Position on the cabinet. If you give us your support, you'll be my VP in the next cabinet. This guy gives me Lib Dem vibes. Yeah, I see what you mean. I'll give you a position on the cabinet. I think we can achieve a lot if we lead together. Well, if you promise me the position of Vice President... Well, Peter's useless anyway, to be honest. Fine, whatever. Can I hold you to that promise? As long as I get your support. Good. It seems we have a deal. Grim, I made a promise. Uh-oh. How is Haryan standing? Well, Portrait Seal, as you can see, we're in debt. The economy crashed. But I will say we have a consistent economy, large corporations are creating jobs, the small business is growing, and the tourism industry is great. I'll talk to my guys shortly. I'll have their signatures soon. Thank you, Mr. Clavin. See you at the conference, Mr. President. He left the room and went back to the corridor. He had me by the nuts, my dude. Now that I think about it, I didn't even want the reforms. I should have just said no. The meeting had exhausted me. I went to the restaurant to the assembly to get something to eat while conversing with other members. Saw Albin talking to people in the distance. After a while, the preparation for the conference began, and I went back to the conference hall and prepared my notes for the speech I was going to make. It took time to get all the present members of the party inside the hall. Gloria Tori announced me from the stand. I walked up to the stand as everybody in the room started clapping. Ladies and gentlemen of the party, I came here today to announce the agenda for the future of the country. I started my speech with the reasons for the change to the constitution. People of Swordland have spoken. They blame our institutions and system and want change. Can you blame them? Haven't we had enough of the flaws of the constitution? We must listen to their wishes and get their trust back. Talk about why the USP needs to survive the next election. Talk about the old gone Supreme Court. Yeah, alright. I blame the Orgor for not allowing the legislature to do their work. I explained how more reforms can be done if the power of the constitutional change were to be limited, and a round of applause from the left were heard. I later explained the contents of the new constitution and asked for their full support for the proposal. I asked for their votes to make the change. The reformist wing stood up and started clapping loudly. Soon after, most of the party members stood up and joined in. I saluted everyone in the room for one last time and bid farewell to them. I walked outside the assembly and back to the palace. Well, I've kept the party happy, but I did absolutely get drop-kicked with that. That was really bad. Well, that wasn't great, I'm going to be honest. President meets the USP. Yep, they're happy. Right, we'll continue and I'll leave it there. Just see what happens. Balance power in Eastern Mercopa. Uh-oh. Economy's still in danger. Come on, change, man. What's wrong with you? Archaic state of Sorland's conscription law. Oh, shut up. Reign to meet with Smokland and Van Houten. Oh. Oh. Kasia offers aid. Religious harmony bill. Okay. I'll leave it there. Grim, I know you're not happy with how I've played this, but I think I've done pretty well so far. It's a really good game, though. I prefer this to the politics of Disco Elysium, for example. Really annoyed about the economic stability. There's absolutely nothing new here, as far as I can tell. God, law is not in a good state. The economy's sort of everywhere. I will improve transport links next, I think. Welfare's sort of bad as well. Wow, order is awful. At least diplomacy is pretty good. Not bad, not bad. Oh, I'm enjoying this. Oh, I know you're enjoying it, but you are definitely my most critical chatter, which I'm not complaining about. But I am going to poke fun at you whenever I see any good news done, and I will ignore all of the bad news. So there you go. Right. Anyway, with that, I'd like to thank you all for coming along and watching. Laughing at the Guardian will be on Saturday. I'm hoping there'll be a Walls of Westminster on Saturday too. So we'll see with that. Videos are when I can make them. Do subscribe, leave a like, and share this with anyone you think or care. Leave super chat, super thanks, where you can become a channel member. Thank you very much for the super chats I got today as well. They are more than welcome. Right. With that, I will see you for part 5 of Suzerain, and hopefully we will get Sorland back to the greatest place that it can be. With that, thank you very much all for watching, and until next time, goodbye.